position at first base. Had the triple yesterday. We saw the home run a couple days ago. Really might be solidified into that first base spot, a spot that we realized was kind of open through the first couple games.
Let's take a look at the Cape League standings. We have all played 4 games for the most part. A couple of games got rained out on Tuesday, which were supposed to be made up on the installed off day on Thursday. Well, a lot of those got rained out. So it's a kind of a jumbled mess in the standings in both divisions, but they sound like this. Cotuit leads the West in first place with a 3-1 record. Falmouth not far behind with a 2-0-1 record. Wareham in third, 1-1-1. Hyannis 0-2-1 in fourth, and Bourne was rained out for the third time already this season. Yesterday, the Braves sit in the cellar of the West with an 0-2 record. East Division standings, Chatham's out in front with a 3-1 record. Orleans in second, 2-1-1. Whitey in third, 2-1. Harwich in fourth, 1-2, and Brewster winless at 0-3 at the bottom of the barrel. Last night we had a couple of crazy results across the Cape League. Of course, the Kettleers won 8-2 at Brewster. It was a 10-inning tie at Spillane Field in Wareham between Orleans and Wareham, 4-4, and of course Chatham blanked Harwich 5-0. Some of the starters being lined up and rattled off here at Lowell Park. Beautiful day for some baseball. Both coaches met at home plate and already went over things. So we'll take a look at a little bit of what Coach Mike Roberts had to say before the game. We caught up with Coach Roberts, who had plenty to say about the Kettleers and the lineup, much more. He updates you on injuries and base running and this pregame spot. We'll be right back with first pitch and lineups after Coach Roberts. Here at Lowell Park with Coach Mike Roberts, getting ready for the Harwich Mariners. Coach, your team's coming off another win last night at Brewster. How about Aubrey Major? 7 of his last Cavaliers and the Harwich Mariners. Harwich at the plate first as the visitors, so let's get you a starting lineup. Steve Englert is one of the Cape League's most favorite coaches and one of the most fan-friendly coaches in the entire league. 341 wins opposed to 348 losses with 18 draws in his 17th season with the Harwich Mariners. He began his career in the Cape League as an assistant for Harwich all the way back in 1998, his first year back in 2003. A two-time Cape League champion. His starting lineup goes like this, with a couple of returners from 2018 at the top. Cam Thompson, the third baseman, bats leadoff. Chris Galland is a right fielder batting second. Bobby Seymour, a DH from Wake Forest and an All-American, bats third. Nico Cavadas, the first baseman, who bats cleanup. Chris Lanzilli, the left fielder, bats fifth. Eduardo Malinowski, the second baseman, batting sixth. Brian Dempsey in the seventh spot playing shortstop. Matt Oldham, the catcher, batting eighth. And Joe Lamusio, the center fielder, batting ninth. Once again, for Steve Englert's Harwich Mariners, 1-2 on the season out of the Eastern Division. Thompson at third, Galland in right, Seymour the DH, Cavadas at first, Lanzilli in left, Malinowski at second, Dempsey the shortstop, Oldham behind the plate, Lamusio in center field, and Nick Stewart, the right-handed pitcher, getting the start on the mound. He's opposite a lefty for the Kettleers, getting his first start on the season today from West Virginia. Jackson Wolf, 6'7", 205, a junior from Gahanna, Ohio. Aram, what are we looking for out of the mound for the big lefty Mountaineer?
Well, we mentioned two consecutive really quality starts for the Kettleers, and it's pretty much given them the momentum they need to win these last two ball games. Just pound the zone like these previous two starters have. Sean Sullivan and McCambly have in common. They were just getting ahead of batters. Obviously, a lot of right-handed bats in this lineup. Going to be an interesting situation for him to see how he can pitch those righties. We already know Jackson Wolf can get left-handed hitters out at a great rate.
Wolf's numbers in 2019, 15 appearances, 13 starts overall. He sported a 2-4 record, a 5.17 earned run average, tossed 69 and 2/3 innings, allowed 79 hits, 40 earned runs, walked 31, and struck out a grand total of 50. Opponents hit 290 against him. Just about set. Wolf throwing his final warm-up pitches. He's lanky at 6'7", throwing downhill to Colton Kessler, who does the catching today for the Kettleers. Got the night off yesterday with illness. Didn't know if he was going to play today. Then he started taking BP, and he made his way into Mike Roberts' lineup for Game 5 on the summer. So good to see Kessler back behind the plate. It's a normal starters defensively for the Kettleers around the infield. Casey Schmidt at third base. Cam Williams back at shortstop after a night off in Brewster. Nick Gonzalez at second base. Mason Dodd, the first baseman. In the outfield from left to right, you'll remember this name. Duke Ellis is back for his second summer in Cotuit. A senior, a Texas Longhorn, plays in left field. Cam Hill in center field, and Parker Chavers making his second consecutive start in right. Ready for baseball on a gorgeous afternoon at Lowell Park. Spotless blue skies overhead, sunny day, 74 degrees. The wind blows a little bit, about 5 to 7 miles an hour left to right. And it is gorgeous for some baseball. Cam Thompson digs in, left-handed batting third baseman. Wolf deals in a fastball, swing and a miss, and we are underway with strike one. First pitch clocks in at 5:02 Eastern Time. Quick windup from Wolf. Lefty back to the plate with a high and in fastball, 94 miles an hour, ball one. 1-1 on Thompson. A 6', 185-pound senior out of Pasadena, Texas, a suburb of Houston, who played with Harwich last summer in 16 games. 1-1. Fastball runs in, 2 balls and a strike. Thompson got injured last year after registering a .340 batting average. Looked pretty promising at the top of Steve Englert's lineup. Now the hope is that the product of Kansas State University will deliver the goods for a full summer in 2019. Another brushback fastball up at the shoulders. 3 balls and 1 strike now. Kettleers play the infield back and straight up. Same thing with the outfield. Duke Ellis shaded a little towards the left field line. There's a big gap in left center field. Wolf's 3-1. Fastball at the shins, called for ball 4. Thompson works a 5-pitch walk, and he's aboard to start this one for Harwich. One on, nobody aboard. Top of the first inning, no score. Thompson, the base runner, and Chris Galland at the plate. Right fielder from Boston College, another returnee for Harwich. He bats from the right side. Wolf out of the stretch, closed off with the blue and gold West Virginia cleats. Strike one on the inside corner, fastball at 90 miles an hour. Cotuit in the home white pinstripes today, maroon caps with the silver script C on the front. Harwich in the road blues, trimmed in red on gray pants. Wolf looks over at the runner and Thompson and delivers a slider off the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike on Galland. A local kid, native of Sudbury, Mass. Former ACC All-Freshman with Boston College. A student at the Carroll School of Management at Chestnut Hill. Fastball fouled away. 1 ball and 2 strikes now. A nice group of fans have come in to enjoy this one. The entire third base grandstand filled up. The corners are full. Plenty of lawn chairs down the left field line.
I think Thompson's waiting to see the first move from Wolf. A big left-handed, there it is. Big left-handed leg kick. Sometimes it's hard to run on those guys. You have to go on first move and almost try your luck and hope he doesn't pick off to first.
Jackson Wolf, the big 6'7" lefty. Thompson takes a modest lead, held on by Dodd at first. Another leg lift and a throw over. Nothing doing, though. Kettleers placed the middle infielders at double play depth. Top of the first, no score. Thompson on first after a 5-pitch walk to start the ball game. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Chris Galland. Wolf stares over, now back to the plate. Curveball in the dirt, scooped out of the 5-hole by Kessler, 2-2. Wolf comes set at the belt, offset to the right side of the rubber, and slings it back to first. Thompson dives back in safely. Today's umpires, Dan Henry calls the balls and strikes behind home plate. Dave Viveros, the first base umpire, and Rudy Firmbach at third base. 2-2. Galland chops it left side, and that's through into left for a base hit. Harwich starts the ball game off with their first 2 reaching safely. Thompson the leadoff walk, and Galland a single into left field. First and second with nobody aboard, and Bobby Seymour at the plate, an All-American from Wake Forest.
Not an ideal situation for Wolf here. Obviously, you don't want to let those 2 first leadoff guys get on base, but this is not the guy you want up with runners in scoring position and nobody out. Seymour put up video game numbers, and I'll let you get to that in a second, just this past year at Wake Forest.
Oh, my goodness. He had a heck of a season. A .377 batter, mashing 9 home runs, and a national best 92 RBI. Nobody had a better number. The ACC Player of the Year, and Seymour stands in from the left side. Kessler just wrapped up a mound visit with his lefty and Jackson Wolf. Kettleers trying to work out of a first and second jam early. Nobody out here in the top of the first and nothing on the scoreboard. Seymour might be able to change that, though. Slightly open stance in the left-handed batter's box. Wolf, the southpaw, set, kicks and deals. Curveball in the other batter's box. 1 ball, no strikes. West Virginia baseball coming off of a banner year, hosting their first regional in Morgantown since 1955, but unfortunately ended in heartbreaking fashion. 1-0, high and away, 2-0 on Seymour. Of course, it was double elimination, and Texas A&M won a ball game to eliminate the Mountaineers on a 3-2, 2-out grand slam, trailing by 3. That's the kind of situation you dream of in your backyard, and unfortunately for West Virginia, it ended the wrong way. 2-0 to Seymour. Fastball on the outside corner. Called strike. 2-1.
I think even more surprising than that was West Virginia losing at home to Duke with Alek Manoah on the mound. Of course, the early first-round pick this past year, one of the most dominant arms in all of college baseball. Duke was able to get to him for 5 runs.
First and second, nobody out for Harwich. 2-1. Wave and a miss by Seymour. Wolf got him to chase, and it's a level count, 2-2. The Kettleers hoping that Jackson Wolf can replicate the kind of performance that Alek Manoah had last summer on the Cape with the Chatham A's. Manoah went 11th overall to the Toronto Blue Jays just a week ago. No score, top of 1. 2-2. Seymour slashes it off foul. And it zips back into the parking lot out of play.
Great job by Wolf to battle back here, falling behind 2-0 to, of course, scary hitter like Bob Seymour. Really nipping at the outer half of the plate, not giving him anything he can really handle.
Thompson walked. Gallen singled. First and second, nobody away. And the 2-2 again. Knocked away foul by Seymour. Good battle continues. Jackson Wolf at 6'7" on the mound. Unbuttons the first 2 buttons of his Cotuit uniform. You can see his white undershirt. Just a hint of his maroon socks on his gold and blue West Virginia cleats. He peers into Colton Kessler, who relays a sign. The big lefty set again for another 2-2. Curveball poked into short left field, and that's into the gap for a potential extra base hit. Here comes Thompson scoring easily. Both runners only go up 90 feet behind him, though, but Harwich is on the board. A single by Bobby Seymour to make it 1-0 here in the first.
And that was a good pitch. It was just better offense there. 2-2 curveball. Might have missed off the plate away, but Seymour was just able to stick the bat out and flare it over the shortstop Cam Williams' head, and just a great piece of 2-strike hitting there.
All 3 batters that Harwich has sent to the plate have reached base safely. And it has produced a 1-0 edge for the Mariners on the road against the Kettleers. Mike Roberts comes out to the mound for a little visit with his entire infield, Jackson Wolf and Colton Kessler. See if Cotuit can get things under control here. Cam Thompson started things off with a 5-pitch walk. Chris Gallen singled into left. And then Bobby Seymour fought off a few 2-2 pitches to eventually poke in the first run of the ball game, an RBI single into short left center. Dan Henry comes out from behind home plate to break up the mound meeting. Still first and second with nobody out here. Top of the first. Now it's the cleanup batter for Harwich. Nico Cavadas, first baseman from Notre Dame. Another big left-handed bat scheduled to come to the plate. Mike Roberts, a slow walk down to his dugout, looking down the left field line to check on the bullpen. Nobody up and throwing for the Kettleers yet. Although there might have been instruction to get somebody up, and it looks like somebody has emerged to at least stretch and toss, another left-hander. Here's Cavadas, first and second still, nobody out. 1-0 Harwich in the top of the first. Wolf, the leg lift, first pitch, fastball on the outside corner, 87 miles an hour, strike 1. Cavadas went 0 for 1 with a pair of walks against Chatham last night. His team was on the short end of a 5-0 defeat. Wolf set at the belt. Looks back to second to check on Galland. Now another fastball in there for a strike, 0-2. Kettleers coming off of an 8-2 win at Brewster yesterday. First of 5 in a row against the Eastern Division. 0-2. Fastball just off the plate. Not a bad spot, though, for Wolf. 1-2 now on Cavadas.
We're seeing Wolf, a guy that's not going to blow it by you. High 80s, can touch low 90s. So he's really working that outer half, trying to nip at the corners and set up that curveball. It's been pretty sharp and looked pretty good today when he can locate it.
1-2. Ripped on the right side. Speared out of the air by Dodd, who takes it on one hop and rounds first himself to get the batter. 3 unassisted to retire Cavadas. Both base runners move up 90 feet to second and third. Kettleers will take that out, the first of the inning. Good defense by Mason Dodd. He's impressed at first base, which isn't his natural position.
Seems like it's one way or another with those middle infielders or corner infielders that try to play first base. Some of them don't respond well. Some of them do really well, and he did a great job there on a one-hopper, staying low and going up to it instead of vice versa, a mistake a lot of players make.
Here's Chris Lansley, who swings and misses at the first pitch, strike 1. The Kettleers have the infield in. Mike Roberts wants to keep this at a 1-0 game and no more. 1-0 Harwich, top of the first inning, only one out. Runners on second and third. Lansley at the plate. Another Wake Forest player. Junior out of Stoneham, Mass. Infield creeping in onto the grass, and a breaking pitch from Wolf is in the dirt, 1-1.
And a great year from Lansley as well. It seems like Harwich has just about all of Wake Forest's home run production and RBI production this summer. It should be a good recipe for them.
Cam Williams plays with his heels about 1.5 feet onto the grass. Same thing with Nick Gonzalez up the middle. Corners of the infield in as well. 1-1 from Wolf. Curveball that skips behind Kessler, and Harwich has another run home to score. Gallen trots in easily on a wild pitch, and it's 2-0 Harwich here in the top of the first inning. Seymour trailed behind him to move up to third base. And it's a tough little start for the Kettleers here at home in the field. Breaking ball from Wolf. Got behind Kessler. So it's 2-0 with a runner on third and one away. Cotuit still has the infield playing in. 2-1 to Lansley. Fastball cued on the right side. Dodd sprinting to first. Lansley nearly got there, but Dodd was able to race over and tag him for the second out. Seymour stayed put at third. Great awareness and hustle by Mason Dodd, who had to charge that ball. It was in the path of the second baseman Gonzalez. Both were playing in. He was able to make the play and somehow make up all the ground to beat Lansley up the line at first and tag him.
That was amazing because Dodd was actually shaded over to his right towards second base with the right-handed hitter up in the infield in. Had to run a good 25 feet before the runner could get to first base, cut him off, and tagged him right in the back just as he lunged to first.
Eduardo Malinowski takes ball one outside. Mason Dodd has made two good plays for the first two outs of this inning. It's 2-0 Harwich, top of the first. Seymour still on third with two outs. 1-0 count on Malinowski, and he fends one away. It's 1-1. Infield shifts back to normal depth, playing straight up. Wolf ready, now to the plate. Swing and a miss. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Malinowski out of Spring, Texas. Plays his baseball with the Penn Quakers. An all Ivy League honorable mention selection this past spring. Hit .354 with 4 bombs and 27 RBI. 2-0 Harwich in the first. Man on third, the 1-2. Fastball fouled away on the right side, and we'll do it again. Still more fans walking into Lowell Park. It's a beautiful sunny day in Cotuit, your classic Cape Cod day. Some traffic trying to get on both bridges today. It's a beach day. No rain, so that means that everybody flocks down to the Cape. 1-2. Grounded it to short. Williams shuffles, guns it to first, and Dodd extends to make the play with his foot on the bag for out number 3. Minimal damage for the Kettleers considering the start. Harwich got their first 3 to reach, but no more after that. 2 runs on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 man left in scoring position, and we are on to the bottom of the first inning. The Kettleers trail it 2-0 against Harwich. Cotuit at the plate. When we return, you're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. out there. Bottom of the first inning. Cotuit down 2-0 against the Harwich Mariners. And the Kettleers are at the plate first, or in the bottom of the first, with a lineup that goes like this. Cam Hill, the leadoff man, playing center field. Nick Gonzalez bats second and plays second base. Mason Dodd in the 3 spot. He's the first baseman. Arajanu gets the call at the designated hitter spot. He bats cleanup. Colton Kessler back behind the plate after missing last night. He's the 5th batter. Casey Schmidt backs 6th and plays at third base. Parker Chavers starts in right field and bats 7th. Cam Williams, the shortstop, batting 8th. And Duke Ellis, the left fielder, batting 9th. Jackson Wolf, the left-handed pitcher, worked the first inning and gave up 2 runs on 2 hits. Nick Stewart, the starting pitcher on the mound for Harwich, a right-hander from James Madison University, 6'5", 220 pounds, a junior from Ashburn, Virginia. Cam Hill bats from the left side. Stewart's first pitch to him. A changeup on the outside corner for strike 1. Harwich starting defense. Cam Thompson plays at third base. Brian Dempsey, the shortstop. Eduardo Malinowski, the second baseman. And Nico Cavadas plays at first base. 0-1, fouled off on the left side. Quickly 0-2 on Cam Hill. Matt Oldham is the catcher. Chris Lansley in left field. Chris Galland in right field. And Joe Lamusio, the center fielder. 0-2 pitch. Fastball up and in, and it hits Hill. He's a hit batsman once again. A 92-mile-an-hour fastball from Stewart turned him off on the front shoulder and clipped his jersey. So Stewart wastes an 0-2 count, and Cam Hill's aboard to start the ball game for Cotuit.
It's unbelievable the ways he's been able to find to get on base. Falling behind 0-2, and he gets clipped on the shoulder. Now he's on base, and an incredible stolen base threat. 6 already in this season through just 3 games.
Here's Nick Gonzalez, runner on first in Hill, nobody out. Middle infield plays at double play depth for Harwich. Stewart's first pitch, Gonzalez slings it back foul, strike 1. 2-0 Harwich, bottom of the first inning. Gonzalez coming off another solid performance last night. Went 2 for 4 and was also a hit batsman at Brewster.
Gonzalez, another guy that's just found ways to get on base. 611 on base percentage so far this year.
He's walked 6 times and he's been hit twice. 0-1 breaking ball, line to third, speared out of the air by Thompson. He guns it across the diamond, but Hill's back in to tag. Just 1 out on an L5. And the base runner stays put at first. Hard hit ball, but good defense by Harwich at the hot corner. One down, man on first in Hill. Here's Mason Dodd. Left-handed batting first baseman. Stewart still out of the stretch. Aggressive leg kick and a hard fastball on the inside corner. Ball 1. Dodd, another brilliant effort last night. A bases loaded triple to drive in 3 runs. Went 2 for 5 with a run scored as well. Hill, a bigger lead off first. There he goes on the 1-0. Slashing a foul out of play on the left side, though. Hit and run was on.
I'm curious if that was a hit and run because it looked like Hill had a really good jump. I was almost going to say maybe Dodd should have let that one go, 1-0. Looked like Hill might have had that bag stolen at second for his 7th of the season.
One ball and 1 strike. Hill, the runner at first, 1 out. Kettleers down 2-0. Stewart stands straight up out of the stretch, and a breaking pitch bounced over to first, taken by Cavadas, spun over to Dempsey at short. His relay nowhere near in time, and Dodd just collided up the first baseline with the second baseman Malinowski, I believe, for Harwich. Hill out at second base for the second out of the inning. Dodd safe, but a collision up the line between Mason Dodd, the base runner, and Eduardo Malinowski, the second baseman for Harwich. Hopefully Malinowski's okay. It looked like he took the brunt of that hit. He's still down on one knee. He was slow to get up. Dodd came away from the play, and he's hinged over at his knees, being checked on by Craig Moody, Cotuit's athletic trainer. Steve Englert checking on his second baseman in Malinowski, who's now back up and walking. Dodd gets up from his bent over position and now goes back to first base. Both players tap each other and say, "You're good, you're good." So ready to get this one going. Looks like they're both okay, which is the good news.
That could have been a lot uglier. Dodd going full speed right into him. I'm not sure what happened with Malinowski there. I don't know if he lost sight of where he was a little bit. I'm assuming he was going to first to cover on a potential turn for the double play, but obviously was in the way of Dodd up the baseline.
So 2 away. Kettler is still down 2-0 in the bottom of the first inning. Dodd, the base runner, at first. And Arajanu swings and misses at an off-speed pitch for strike one. Score that last play 3-6, a fielder's choice. Hill out at second base in the process. Another left-handed bat. Stewart ahead. Here's the 0-1. Hit in the air, out of play, onto the left side. No balls and 2 strikes. Harwich scored 2 in the first inning. Seymour an RBI single. Second run coming home on a wild pitch. Dodd on first, the 0-2 to Anu. Ripped on the ground, bouncing over Dodd and into right field for a base knock. Dodd turns around second and stomps on the brakes. Arajanu keeps the train going here in the bottom of the first, a 2-out single.
That ball was coming right for Dodd. Took a little jump off the lip in the infield there, bounced right over his head, so he's able to get going. Had a chance to maybe get to third, but smart to hold it up here with 2 away.
Kettler staying at the plate here in the bottom of the first inning. 2 down and now 2 on. Colton Kessler back at the plate. Did not play last night due to illness at Brewster. He's healthy again today and back into Mike Roberts' starting lineup, batting 5th. Anu on first, Dodd on second. Nobody holding on. Harwich plays the infield back. Stewart peers in at 6'5" and holds the mid up at his shoulders from the stretch. Pitch 1, a breaking ball in the dirt. 1 ball and no strikes on Kessler. Harwich ahead 2-0 on the scoreboard. Seymour an RBI hit and a wild pitch, bringing home a pair in the top of this first inning. First meeting between these two squads this season. They'll play 3 more times. 1-0 to Kessler. Fastball dives off the outside corner. 2-0. Peaceful day at the ballpark. A good crowd on hand, but not much noise. It's one of the trademarks of Lowell Park. Just the purity and serenity of this venue for a baseball game. Kettler is down 2-0. 2 on and 2 out. 2-0. Hack and a miss by Kessler way up in the zone. 2-1 now. Dodd reached on a fielder's choice. He's on second. Anu kept the inning going with a single into right. He's on first. 2 down and the 2-1. Breaking pitch sweeps in at the ankles. 3-1 on Kessler. Cotuit played Harwich 4 times last season. Went 1-2-1. The most memorable game, a 3-3 tie at White House Field in Harwich that lasted 12 innings. 3 balls and a strike on Kessler. Wave and a miss. Another fastball that's way up out of the zone. 3-2.
He's had a couple of hitters counts, has Kessler. Had 2 rips at balls that may have been a little too high, but, you know, he's sitting dead red for that fastball, trying to have a rip at it. Now 3-2. We'll see if Stewart goes back to that high fastball.
Kettler is already down 2-0 here in the bottom of the first. 2 on with 2 out. Payoff pitch to Kessler. Knocked away foul back into the parking lot. Bounced off an SUV back there. But that's the kind of car that can take the brunt of those foul balls. It was off the end of the bat. Could have been worse. Runner set to be on the move with a 3-2 count and 2 outs. Harwich leads it 2-0 early. Kessler trying to change that. Anu on first and Dodd on second. Stewart a 3-2 again. Breaking pitch, knocked high in the air, deep to left. Back goes Lansley, and he's not able to get a beat on the ball. It drops right at the wall in left center. Both runs coming on home to score. Kessler digging into third. He slides in with a 2-run triple. 2-2 ball game in the blink of an eye. Colton Kessler comes up with a big 2-out RBI 2-run triple.
Looked like Lansley had a chance on that ball. It just kept carrying. The wind's blowing a little bit out to left center. Looked like it was off the end a little bit of Kessler's bat, but he's so strong he's able to hit it way out there to left center. Sometimes those balls from a left-handed hitter will have some tailing action. Seemed like it might have been tailing away from Lansley, and he wasn't able to get there in time. Kind of took a poor read on the ball and a bad route.
The wind is kind of blowing left to right, and he wasn't able to get to it in time. It is a sunny day, too. Sun might have played a factor in that one. Regardless, Colton Kessler takes it. A deep fly ball to left center field that goes down as a 2-run triple. Casey Schmidt now, who takes a breaking pitch in the dirt. 1 ball and no strikes on the third baseman out of San Diego State. Cotuit's tied this one up in the bottom of the first. Dodd and Anu score on Kessler's triple. Harwich plays the infield back. Stewart back out of the windup with a runner on third. And Schmidt rips one and loses his bat in the process. A swing and a miss. And it went flying into the protective netting above the Kettleer dugout on the third base side.
It's the second time he's done that this year. I guess he's got to get a little bit more pine tar on that bat. We talk about getting adjusted to swinging the wood bats in terms of where you hit the ball in the field, but it also is a little bit of a feel in your hands. You're used to those grips with the metal bats. Some guys put those grips on the wood bats. I don't think Schmidt does, so he's going to add a little bit more pine tar. Maybe you should start thinking about using a grip on that bat.
He goes back to the dugout and gets a new one, I believe, a little off-red bat. A 2-2 game now here in the bottom of the first. 1-1 to Schmidt. Hitting the air foul on the right side out of play. Kettleers have tied it on Kessler's 2-out 2 RBI triple. One-two. Curveball popped up. Sinking out of play, foul again on the first base side. Schmidt takes his time getting back into the batter's box, readjusts his gloves, steps in to anchor on his back right foot, and then evens up a neutral stance with the front left foot. 1-2 to Stewart. Wave and a miss upstairs. Nick Stewart gets a strikeout to get out of the inning. Schmidt goes down, but the Kettleers are able to strike back. Colton Kessler delivers with 2 outs. A 2-run triple to score Mason Dodd and Araj Anu. And we are all tied up at 2 apiece after an inning of play. Kettleers with 2 runs on 2 hits. No errors and 1 man left on third. And we are on to the top of the second inning here at Lowell Park. We'll be right back in just a moment. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Here at the top of the second inning, 2-2 ball game, 7-8-9. Brian Dempsey, Matt Oldham, and Joe Lamusio. For the Mariners here in the visiting half of 2. Glad you're along with us. Sam Niederman, alongside Aram Layton. Jackson Wolf back on the hill. He gave up 2 runs in the first inning. He's ahead 0-1 on Dempsey here. Fastball grounded foul, past third base, 0-2. Hope you're having a great weekend. First of many beach weekends here on Cape Cod. 75 degrees and sunny on a Saturday afternoon. We're just off Main Street here at Lowell Park in the village of Cotuit. 0-2 to Dempsey. Swing and a miss on a curveball in the dirt. Gets away from Kessler, who slings it down to first. Good play on a drop third strike. Out number 1 here in the visiting half of 2.
Big inning for Wolf here. Obviously, he gets a clean slate, tied up. It's all new ball game. Kind of get a rhythm here all over again. You get a do-over, a rare do-over on the mound, and see if he can keep putting up zeros now and let the Kettleers offense do what they've been doing the last couple ball games.
Another left-handed bat steps in. Matt Oldham, the catcher, who takes a strike on the inside corner. Wolf sitting about 89, 90 miles an hour on his fastball. He's thrown a curveball as well that has been around 78 or so. 0-1 fastball on the outside corner this time. 0-2 on Oldham. Oldham, a catcher out of Elon University in North Carolina, a native of Pittsboro, North Carolina. 2-strike pitch. Fastball. That's a great spot. Outside corner, backwards K. Jackson Wolf with just 3 pitches to retire Oldham. Quickly 2 away here in the top of the second. Joe Lamusio's turn, the number 9 batter in Harwich's order. 2 down and the base is empty. 2-2 ball game, top of the second. Lamusio bats from the right side. Wolf out of the windup. First pitch, changeup in the dirt, swing and a miss. No balls and 1 strike on the center fielder from Brown University, one of a few Ivy League players on this Harwich squad. First team Ivy League selection this past year, hit .339 with 4 homers and 26 driven in. Wolf's 0-1, a fastball that runs in at the shins, 1 ball and 1 strike.
Wolf set up that pitch well if it was just a little bit closer to the plate there. Starting him off with the changeup, then putting the fastball in, that's a recipe for a broken bat.
1-1, fastball way upstairs, and Lamusio fans right through it. 1-2 to the big lefty on the mound and Jackson Wolf. Colton Kessler threw the last ball behind the mound. Cam Williams had to trot into shallow center field to back it up, and now the Kettleers infield kind of does an abbreviated around the horn to get it back to the third base dugout. 2 outs, nobody aboard. 2-2 game in the second. 1-2. Grounded weakly to second. Gonzalez fields it on a couple of bounces. Slings it to first, and Dodd's able to extend for it in time for the final out of the inning. Much better on the hill for Jackson Wolf, the left-hander out of West Virginia. Puts down Harwich. 1-2-3 in the top of the second inning. And the Kettleers are set to come back to the plate when we return through 1.5, a 2-2 ball game at Lowell Park. This is Cotuit Kettleers baseball. Sucker to bring us in here in the bottom of the second inning. 2-2 ball game between the Kettleers and the Harwich Mariners. 7, 8, 9 due up for Cotuit in this half inning. Parker Chavers, Cam Williams, and then Duke Ellis. Nick Stewart, the right-hander out of James Madison, still on the bump for Harwich. His first pitch, a fastball that runs way up and in on Chavers. 1-0. Chavers made his Kettleer debut last night, and Brewster batted 7th and went 1 for 4 with a single, a walk, and a run scored. He tails on high in the air to shallow left field, and it's down into the grass. Diving effort comes up short from Lansley, and Chavers coasts all the way into second in the process, so he's aboard with a leadoff hit. Another ball that hung up into the air, this time in short left field, and Lansley wasn't able to make a play on it. Neither was the left side of the infield, and Chavers takes it. He's aboard, rule it as a hit. He's into second base to start off the bottom of the second inning.
Lansley really struggling out there in left field. I'm not sure if the sun's playing a factor, the shadows from the trees, but he's really not picking the ball up well. That's 2 balls that he probably could have had a beat on and made a catch.
Of course, the other one was Colton Kessler's 2-run triple that tied this ball game back in the bottom of the first. 2-2, bottom of the second here. Runner on second base in Chavers, Cam Williams the batter. Switch hitting shortstop who hits from the left side. 1 ball and no strikes. Stewart out of the stretch. Fastball on the outside corner. Called for a strike to level it up at 1-1. Cam Williams does not wear batting gloves, only wears the wrist tape on either hand. Talked with him about it this morning. He said he just feels better without the batting gloves. He'll sometimes wear it in practice to protect his hands, but when it's game time, he goes old school. 1-1. Fended off into the air, foul, out of play on the left side. Stewart gets ahead, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Vlad Guerrero, probably the most famous guy to not use batting gloves. I remember watching the home run derby. His hands were literally bleeding, but he was still just whacking home runs out of there. A guy that just would always get his hacks in. One of my favorite all-time players.
Lamusio shades a tick into the left center gap. 1-2. Breaking pitch, popped up straight behind home plate, and onto the brick concourse, out of play. Loud gush of wind just blew over Lowell Park. Somebody lost one of their beach chairs down there. It is blowing out. Could be perfect for Cam Williams. 2-2 game in the bottom of the second. Chavers on second, nobody out. Stewart steps off before another 1-2. Lowell Park's pristine backdrop of thick, luscious green trees bristling in the wind. And time called behind home plate by Dan Henry, the umpire. Chavers begins with a single into short left field that allowed him to go into second base. It hung up into the air so long. Nobody out, runner in scoring position. 1-2. Williams whacks it high and deep down the right field line, but way out of play, foul. Just out in front of it, but he barreled it up pretty good.
Looked like that had the distance to get out of here if he could straighten it out, but a good rip from Williams. We'll see if Stewart goes back to that pitch. I doubt it.
320 down the right field line to pull it for the left-handed batter in Williams right now. 2-2 game, bottom of the second. Chavers on second, shuffling off the 1-2. Swing and a miss. Fastball low and away, and Stewart beats him for out number 1. Williams down on strikes. Chavers stays on second base, and that makes way for a familiar face. You might remember him from last summer. Did not know where he would be going in the MLB draft. Duke Ellis out of Texas was not drafted, so he's back with the Cotuit Kettleers for 2019, at least the time being. He gets the call in the number 9 spot, starting in left field for Mike Roberts this afternoon. And shows bunt, pushing one up the third base side, but foul. Strike 1. Duke Ellis was one of the key players on last summer's Cotuit squad. Had an on-base streak of 25 games by the end of the summer. It was unbelievable how this kid found ways to reach base. Very patient, walked a ton, churned out base hits left and right. It just found ways to get on. Chavers on second with one out, tied up at 2. 0-1 breaking pitch, runs up at the shoulders. 1 ball and 1 strike on Duke. Ellis hit .266 at UT Austin this past spring. 1 home run, not necessarily his game. He scored 42 runs, led the club with 45 walks, and went a perfect 17 for 17, stealing bases. Stewart's 1-1, swing and a miss. Fastball, just a little low at the knees. 1-2 now. Harwich took an early 2-0 lead. Seymour a base hit to score 1 run, and then a wild pitch. Kettleers answered back in the bottom of the first. Colton Kessler with a 2-run triple that came with 2 outs. Parker Chavers leads at second. 1 out here in the bottom of the second inning. 1-2 to Ellis. Check swing. He did break the plane according to the home plate umpire, and that's strike 3. Back-to-back strikeouts for Nick Stewart on the mound, and that brings it back around to the top of the Cotuit lineup with Cam Hill. Parker Chavers blooped a little double into left field to get onto second base to begin this inning. But now 2 Texas Longhorns have struck out in Cam Williams and Duke Ellis. So here's a leadoff batter, Cam Hill. 0 for 0 was a hit batsman on an 0-2 count in the bottom of the first. Stewart's first pitch, ripped into right field. That's down for a base hit. Here comes Chavers. Throw in from Galland. It goes to second base. Hill slides in head first, and he is out there. Final out of the inning, but Cotuit's able to take the lead 3-2. An RBI single with 2 outs by Cam Hill to plate Chavers, but the relay throw from Galland, 9-6. Dempsey applied the tag at second to retire the runner in Hill, who is trying to extend it into a double. So that's how it ends for the Kettleers here in the second inning. 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. Cotuit takes a 3-2 lead. We go to the third. Aram Layton back on the play-by-play. When we return, this is Cotuit Kettleers baseball.
Jackson Wolf will get his second time around on this Harwich batting order. The leadoff hitter, Cam Thompson. Be Chris Galland after him and Bob Seymour. Thompson, the senior outfielder out of Kansas State. 3-year starter over there. Hit .318 as a freshman. First pitch fouled off over the third base dugout. Strike 1. Hasn't quite been able to replicate that freshman year, has Thompson. Still a solid year this past spring. .275, 5 home runs, 13 doubles. Takes the 0-1 down for a ball, 1-1. Just missed down and away. Thompson from the left side of the plate. Awaits the delivery from the left-handed pitcher, Wolf. That's a fastball. That's a strike. 1-2. Wolf working away to the left-handed hitter. Thompson walked and scored in his first at-bat. Takes that ball outside, 2-2. Scored on the Bobby Seymour single over the shortstop's head, Cam Williams rather. Thompson awaits the 2-2 from Wolf. Kicks and deals. Fouled straight back, and we'll do 2-2 again. First three batters reached in the first inning for Harwich. It was Thompson on a walk, Galland on a single, and Seymour on a single. As Thompson takes strike three on the outside corner. Delayed call from Dan Henry, but he rings him up. So first out of the inning is a strikeout for Jackson Wolf.
Jackson Wolf starting to settle in after failing to retire the first three batters that he faced, as you mentioned, Aram. He has since retired 7 consecutive and has struck out 3 of his last 4.
First pitch to Gowan is swung through and missed. Strike 1. He's really settled in after that first inning. I think it helps when your offense ties the game back up, then gives you a 1-run lead. Shows that they have your back and you can settle in and now pitch with a lead. So 0-1 to Galland. Galland out of Boston College, a junior. Breaks his bat back to the pitcher. Jackson Wolf fields it. Throws it underhand to first baseman Dodd for out number 2. So 2-away here. And the 3-hitter, Bobby Seymour, will stride to the plate and try to extend this inning.
That last ground ball disappeared. I thought that Jackson Wolf was pulling a magic trick or something like that, you know, where it's like, oh, it's behind your ear, or I've got it right here. Saw it bouncing, and I thought, okay, he's going to have to field his position here. And next thing you know, I thought it went under his glove, but instead he pulled it right out. He made a nice pick on his follow-through to make the easy play over to first.
It's a long reach down from his 6'7" frame, but he was able to just glove it. It sounded like a broken bat from Galland. On a nice changeup, he was able to get it on the end of the bat. First pitch to Seymour's laced foul down the left field line. We talked about what Seymour did this past season. Led the NCAA with 92 RBIs. Not only was that the most this year, that was the most since 2008. Buster Posey had 93. It's good company for Seymour. 0-1 to the left-handed hitter. Takes a curveball for strike 2. Seymour didn't like it. We'll exchange a few words with home plate umpire Dan Henry. Takes his time getting back in the box. Jackson Wolf's already in the rubber, ready to go. Infield shifted over to the right. The 0-2 is a fastball right down the middle. Strike 3, Jackson Wolf. 1-2-3 inning. We'll go into the bottom of the third. Cotuit leads 3-2. You're listening to the Cotuit Cavaliers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Nick Gonzalez leads the way for Cotuit in the bottom of the third rather. Game's flying by so far. He's followed by Mason Dodd, the 3-hitter, and the cleanup hitter, Araj Anu. Gonzalez laced a line drive right at the third baseman, Thompson, in the last inning. First pitch is a fastball at the eyes, ball 1. Gonzalez was barely able to get out of the batter's box by the time Thompson caught that ball at third. Absolutely crushed it. Nothing to show for it, unfortunately. 1-0's missed up again, 2-0. Gonzalez, of course, the only other player on the field that's probably remotely close to the numbers Bobby Seymour put up in terms of run production. 80 RBIs this past season. Takes a 2-0 for a strike on the outer half. 2-1. A little bit of a big zone so far from Dan Henry. Not afraid to call those pitches just off the plate away, we've seen. So 2-1 to the Kettleers 2-hitter. Fouls it straight back and will even things up 2-2. Stewart had a little bit of bad luck so far. Of course, his left fielder Lansley hasn't helped him too much. 2 balls that were probably catchable. Unfortunately, those are earned runs for Stewart. Sometimes stat sheets don't tell the whole story. 2-2's fouled off again. Nick Gonzalez able to stay alive. Pitcher Stewart, James Madison University product, had a great year this past season in 15 starts, pitched to a 2.74 ERA, held opponents to just a 2.20 batting average. Makes a curveball down, make things full. Kettleers have 3 runs on 4 hits so far, as opposed to just 2 runs on 2 hits for Harwich. Gonzalez takes a deep breath, strides to the plate, taps home plate twice and awaits the payoff pitch. Stewart kicks and deals. It's lifted out into right field. Gallen gives chase, camps under it, and makes the grab. So 1 away here in the bottom of the 3rd. That'll bring up Mason Dodd. Dodd has been providing a lot of the power for this Kettleer team. We saw a triple in last night's ball game, home run a couple ball games ago. He's been a mainstay in that 3 spot for Coach Roberts so far this year.
5 for his first 15.
Takes a first pitch curveball up, ball 1.
You got to have players that come onto the scene and surprise like Dodd has, and if you want to win some ball games here in the Cape League.
1-0 misses outside, ball 2. Nice to see Dodd is okay after that collision at first base with the second baseman Malinowski. Both of them were able to stay in the game, but it looked like it could be ugly at first. Dodd, of course, the football player, I'm sure is not shy from contact in his past. Probably used to a few collisions. Takes a strike, and now it's 2-1.
Yeah, that was a dangerous play. Not the kind of play that you want to see, but it just was sort of happenstance with Malinowski coming over to cover on a 3-6 play.
2-1 swung through and missed. 2-2. 89-mile-an-hour fastball gets by Mason Dodd. Rajanu waits on deck. He singled in his last at-bat and was able to score on the Colton Kessler triple. Dodd in his crouch stance awaits the 2-2. Misses up. 3-2. So back-to-back full counts. See if Stewart can win the battle again. After Anu is Kessler, should one of them be able to reach base. The payoff pitch. Taken on the inside corner for strike 3. Dodd took a couple steps towards first base. He didn't like it. Now bring a barrage Anu with 2 outs in the bottom of the 3rd.
Both pitchers starting to find their rhythm a little bit. Jackson Wolf has come back after allowing the 2 runs in the first. He's retired 9 in a row. And Stewart, who did give up the RBI hit back in the second to give the Kettleers the lead, has now struck out 3 of his last 5 he's faced.
First pitch curveball taken low. Anu, the switch hitter. We've seen him mostly in the designated hitter spot, but he can play a little bit of outfield, a little bit of first base. Lifts one out to center field. Mumuzio comes in, gets under it, and makes the grab. So 1-2-3 inning for Nick Stewart, who's starting to settle in here. As you mentioned, both pitchers settling in. We'll go into the top of the 4th. Kettleers remain up 3-2. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Pitchers are cruising here. Only an hour into the game. We're already into the 4th inning. So Jackson Wolf will get Nico Cavadas, Chris Lansley, and Eduardo Malinowski. Cavadas, the first baseman, takes the first pitch down, ball 1. Cavadas, 12 home runs this past season, drove in 43 at Notre Dame. Big first baseman. Swings through the 1-0. Nice changeup from Jackson Wolf.
Local kid, product of Penn High School just outside of South Bend in northern Indiana.
It's your old stomping grounds.
Pretty far away from me, but definitely an athletic powerhouse in high school Indiana sports, that's for sure.
Forget how big Indiana is. How far is that from you?
South Bend is, from where I live outside Indianapolis, probably a good 2 hours. 2.5 almost, yeah. It's right on the Michigan border and just east of Chicago.
2-1's taken up, 3-1.
Penn High School was a runner-up, actually, in the baseball state championship against Zionsville, another big-time baseball school, suburb of Indy School. And that was in 2017.
3-0, Nick's the outside corner, 3-2. So did you grow up an Indiana fan or a Purdue fan? Or
neither. They hated both of them. I was a Notre Dame fan.
Notre Dame guy,
yep.
figured. And now you go to IU. It's ironic.
Yeah.
Full count. Grounded out to Nick Gonzalez, who fields it on a hop, throws it over to first, and gets the first out of the inning. Shot over to Nick Gonzalez, but right at him. It's an easy play for the sure-handed second baseman.
It was a sharp hop. He was able to play it well. That's what Mike Roberts wants to work on with Nick Gonzalez this entire summer. Get his defense and footwork up to speed. You know the bat's there. You know the speed's there. The defense is the one area where he's really going to hone in this year.
First pitch is fouled off Lansley. We'll see if Dodd has a play. He gets up to the fence and it's out of play. So Lansley struggled on a couple fly balls out to left field. We'll see if he can redeem himself at the plate. Lansley, one of the several Wake Forest products, a junior, had a great year this past season, 347, 16 bombs, slugged a 620 clip. Takes a curveball in the dirt, 1-1. One ball, one away. One strike as well. On deck is Eduardo Milanowski. Lansley grounded over to first base in his first at-bat. Fouls one off to the right side again. 1-2. Hit that funky ground ball with the infield in. Mason Dodd fielded it. Was able to just tag him in time before he got to first base. A great play by Dodd. So 1-2, one away. And Lansley tries to stay alive here against Wolf. The 1-2. Laced out into center field. Hill comes in, makes the grab. 2 away here in the top of the 4th. So Milanowski strides to the plate. Of course, the counterpart in that collision with Mason Dodd. Good to see him on his feet as well. Hit 354 this past year at UPenn. Grounds one over the shortstop Cam Williams, who picks it, throws over to first. It throws high and it gets away. So Milanowski will get on board with a 2-out error from the shortstop Cam Williams.
Tough break for Cam Williams. We were just talking about during the break arm of how good of an arm he's got at shortstop. That time just too much on his throw. Airmailed it to Dodd at first. I guess that's the one detractor from Dodd. He's a little shorter, not your typical first baseman size who can reach up and get it, but nobody was going to be able to get that ball, unfortunately, and keeps the inning alive for Harwich.
Well, you talk about that arm. Cam Williams knows he's got a great arm out there. Maybe sat back on that a little bit, relying on the cannon, and once he saw Milanowski getting up the line, rushed the throw a little bit. Picks off to first base, and Milanowski's in time. Wolf, the tall, lanky lefty, has a pretty good move over to first base. We've seen him use it a handful of times so far this ball game. Shortstop Brian Dempsey squares to bunt for a hit. It's back to the pitcher Wolf, who fields it with his bare hand, fires to first. He'll be in time. A great athletic play by Jackson Wolf. Thwarts the bunt for a hit attempt from Brian Dempsey. So it'll be one runner reaching on an error. No hits, no runs. And we will go into the bottom of the 4th. Cotuit looks to expand upon the 3-2 lead. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball from the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Colton Kessler will have another crack. He had the triple in the first inning that drove in 2 and tied this game. And it'll be Casey Schmidt and Parker Shavers. As we have a banner down in left center. I believe that's Coach Roberts out there grabbing it and bringing it back in. The wind's blowing really hard out here at Lowell Park. And there was one banner casualty. So we have several banners across the outfield.
Well, good for Coach Roberts to go out there and get it, and he's trying to hustle back as fast as he can.
So we'll wait for the banner delay. The only thing that seems to slow this game down so far, we've been cruising. It's just 6:08 at a 5 o'clock first pitch, and we're already halfway through the ball game. So now we'll get started in the bottom of the fourth. Colton Kessler had that triple to left center right where that banner just fell down. Here's some dogs barking around the park. Of course, a lot of fans like to bring their dogs. It's a pet-friendly venue. First pitch is a strike. That's what it's all about. You got kids playing catch, playing cornhole. We got fans still keeping score with the old scorebooks. You got dogs barking, playing. It's just a great atmosphere at Lowell Park. The 0-1's taken away, 1-1.
I think this might be one of the better crowds so far in the summer. I know this is only Game 5, but this is almost as good as the opening day crowd.
And a great away crowd, too, from Harwich.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty packed over there. Probably the most packed we've seen in the away stand. Fouls off that fastball. It'll be 1-2.
It's a weekend. It's June 15th. I mean, we're halfway in June. I can't believe that. Before you know it, it's going to be 4th of July. And that's really the official mark of summer out here. Some of the kids are still in school. It's funny, when we went up to Stony Brook yesterday, there were still kids out of recess.
Ball misses up, 2-2. Another great venue, too. You have the kids all over the place. A playground. Kids coming out of school, sit on the hill and watch the ball game. So 2-2 to the catcher, Kessler. He takes that pitch down for ball 3. 3-2. Another full count. Kessler been looking to get it going a little bit. He's had some good at-bats, but not much to show for it until last at-bat. Oh, just fouls one off there. Just able to stay alive. Catcher Oldham could not hold on to it. So a little more life for Kessler here, who will wait the payoff pitch again. On deck is Casey Schmidt, then Parker Shavers. The payoff pitch is swung through and missed. A fastball blown by Colton Kessler. It's up in the zone, probably was ball 4. It'll be the first out of the ball, or of the bottom of the fourth for Cotuit. That brings up Casey Schmidt from San Diego State. He struck out swinging in his first at-bat. Schmidt with the maroon mid-calves. Swings at the first pitch. Fouls it off over into right field. We'll see if Gowan has a chance. He does not. It'll bounce in front of him in foul territory. It's a mixed bag with some of the players. We see some wearing the high socks, some with the mid-calves, some with the pants all the way down.
I think the mid-calves thing is a summer ball thing. I think it's just sort of like a, hey, I'm out here and I'm having fun. I'm mixing it up. Because I don't see that too much in actual college ball, spring ball.
Not very often. You look at Harwich, they all have the stirrups. Quickly ahead, 0-2 is Stewart. Part of the Harwich uniform, they have the blue stirrups with the red and white lining midway up the sock. 0-2 lined into left center. Lamusio will get under it and make the grab.
Another well-hit ball by Casey Schmidt, but that time it stayed in the yard. Lowell Park just played a little too big in that left center gap. Sounded pretty decent, but an F8 for the second out here in the bottom of the fourth inning.
A nice piece from Schmidt, but 397 to dead center. Doesn't come in too far in the gaps. Shavers awaits the first pitch. It's a fastball down the middle, strike 1. So Shavers had that bloop double in his first at bat in the second inning. Fell in front of the left fielder Lansley. The 0-1 to Shavers. Misses away, 1-1. Shavers from Coastal Carolina. Will be a junior this coming season. Had a pair of really good seasons. 1-1. Lined out into right center. Back is Galland and Lamuzio giving chase, but they won't get there. It's a stand-up double for Parker Shavers, who split the right center gap there with a shot. And now 2 away. And we'll have a runner in scoring position for Cam Williams.
Parker Shavers already starting to find his swing here in Cotuit. He's now 2 for 2 in his career at home at Lowell Park. Had a little bloop double back in the second inning. This time a 2-out double, a straight clean drive to the right center gap. Took a nice little round around first and coasted in. Give the Kettleers an opportunity to extend a 3-2 advantage.
So Cam Williams struck out swinging in the second inning. Laces one out into right field. Back is Gowan, and it's out to the trees. A 2-run shot from Cam Williams. It'll be 5-2 Kettleers on a laser off the bat of Cam Williams. And that one got out of here in a hurry.
Cam Williams, a big blast to get the Kettleers some breathing space. Now a 3-run lead. Shavers started it off with a 2-out double, and Williams takes care of the rest. A hanging pitch for him to hammer, and he just roped that thing over into the right field wall. Crazy stuff from a kid that's got a big league future in his prospects. Pretty awesome.
First pitch fouled off by Duke Ellis. Also struck out swinging in his first at-bat. We'll see if he has a similar type of redemption. Fouled off again, 0-2. The 0-2 to Ellis. Line past the shortstop Dempsey for a base hit. And Ellis takes a big turnaround first, but he'll retreat as the throw comes into second base. So 3 straight 2-out hits for the Kettleers here. And they're not done in the bottom of the 4th.
Dude just finds ways to get on base. Get ready, he's back. That's a classic Duke Ellis 2-strike hit. Opposite field, got it right past the shortstop Dempsey. Well done by Duke to keep the inning going. The Kettleers are starting to find their groove on offense. This is a good offense. 5 runs on 7 hits already with 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th. Impressive stuff from the Kettleer lineup with 2 outs or to respond. Remember, this is a 2-0 game after a half inning of play. And Cotuit bounced right back. Kessler with a 2-run triple to tie things up. Cam Hill the single to get the lead back in the second. And then now the big blast by Williams, a 2-run bomb to make it 5-2 here in the 4th.
So Cam Williams had an RBI single in his last at-bat back in the second inning. We'll have a mound visit here. We'll see if that'll do it for Stewart or if it's just a conversation. Looks like no one's ready to go in the bullpen yet. So it looks like it'll just be a chat. So Hill, one of the 2 Kentucky players on this team, or 3 if you count Arajanu, who'll be playing baseball there for the first time this spring, transferring over there. Nice Wildcat presence on this Cotuit Kettleers team.
Looks like Steve English trying to stall a little bit to get a lefty loose in the pen. He called it arm. Nobody's ready at the moment. And now it's Steve English goes to the pen for a pitching change. Points out there, so it looks like he just wanted to buy a couple more moments for his pitcher to get a couple more tosses in, and Kettleers have chased their opponent started out of the game, and Nick Stewart.
We'll have more information on the new pitcher and the new southpaw when we come back after this quick break. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Shout out to my grandfather, also from the Bronx. Big Yankees fan. I'm sure Espinal is as well. 22 appearances this past season, 3-4, 4.54 ERA. Struck out 32 in 35 innings pitched. We'll try and get the left-handed hitting Cam Hill, the leadoff hitter for the Kettleers, two-away here in the bottom of the fourth.
The Kettleers offense has done a really nice job all season long. That's now 34 total runs scored in the 4 games and change that the Kettleers have played so far. And I just love the ability to come up clutch for this Cotuit team. Multiple times we've seen 2-out hits. You go back to opening day, Adam Oviedo's game-winning hit came with 2 strikes and 2 outs. This team responded back in the first inning, and then not only that, but they've stepped on the throat of Harwich and kept it going. 5 runs on 7 hits so far. Let's see if Cam Hill can keep this little 2-out rally up.
So speed on first with Duke Ellis. Of course, swiped 17 bags this past spring. First pitch to Hill. Fastball, strike 1. 88 from the left-handed pitching Espinal. We'll see if Ellis will be on the move with the leadoff hitter Cam Hill at the plate. Espinal comes set, kicks and deals from the slide step. Cam Hill bunts, but go foul. So 0-2. Espinal's pretty quick to the plate, going to that slide step. We haven't seen him lift his leg through the first 2 pitches. So Cam Hill will try to battle back down 0-2 to the southpaw Espinal. The 0-2, Ellis is on the move, but it's strike 3, so that won't matter. It was caught Cam Hill looking. But not before the Kettleers get 2 runs on 3 hits, including a Cam Williams 2-run shot. And we'll go into the top of the 5th. Kettleers lead 5-2. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network.
Is one of the natives out here in Cape Cod, Christopher Holcomb. A left-handed pitcher who's ready to transfer to Tulane University down in New Orleans. 6'3", 190 pounds, a junior from Osterville, Mass, just down the road. Actually grew up in Marston's Mills, just maybe 5 or 10 minutes away from this ballpark here in Cotuit. And he makes his 2019 summer debut up against the bottom of the Harwich order. 8-9-1 due up. Matt Oldham, Joe Lamuscio, and then the leadoff batter, Cam Thompson. It's pretty cool to see another local. We saw Cody Pasek make his debut as a catcher the other night, and he came up large. So Christopher Holcomb has a chance here out of the bullpen in the 5th.
And it's great to see how the home crowd rallies behind the local guys. They know who the local guys are, and they really cheer them on nicely.
Holcomb's first pitch in the pinstripes, a fastball low and away, ball 1. Cotuit 5 and Harwich 2, visiting half of the 5th. Oldham at the plate, 0 for 1 with a strikeout looking. 1-0 fastball on the high outside corner, called for a strike, 1 ball and 1 strike. Schmidt plays in at third base, also towards the middle of the infield. Williams plays near second at short. Holcomb misses with an off-speed pitch, low and away, 2-1 now on Oldham. The Kettleers were down 2-0 after the top of the first inning. Kessler a 2-run triple, Hill an RBI base hit, and then Williams a 2-run home run. Oldham fouls one off into the parking lot, 2-2. Holcomb zones in, offset on the right side of the rubber in the windup. Lifts the vanilla mid overhead and deals a breaking ball that's punched on the ground, foul just past first base. 2-2 still. Holcomb spent his last couple of years in junior college, started his career at the University of Alabama actually, but then transferred midway through his freshman year. Former #1 left-handed pitcher in the state of Massachusetts according to Perfect Game. Holcomb shapes off Kessler. Now he's got the sign. Wind up into 2-2. Fastball. Got him on the outside corner. Called strike 3. Christopher Holcomb with a strikeout to start things off here in the top of the 5th. Well, Dan Henry's been calling that outside pitch for a strike all afternoon long, and both pitchers have kind of taken advantage of it throughout.
Yeah, it seems like they're getting a ball or 2 baseballs off the plate away, and if you can abuse that, advantage pitcher.
Joe Lamuscio takes a fastball on the outside part of the plate, strike 1. 1 out, nobody aboard. Kettleers 5, Harwich 2, top of the 5th. Lamuscio 0 for 1 with a ground out to second. 1 ball and 1 strike to the outfielder from Brown. A native of West Roxbury, Mass. Holcomb's 1-1. Swing and a miss. Good life on his fastball on the outer half of the plate. Not going to blow you away at 86 miles an hour, but it's got some good running action away from a right-handed bat. Normal depth for the Kettleer infield, straight up as well. Same thing in the outfield. 1-2. Fastball dives in at the knees. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
First game in Omaha's final. Michigan beats Texas Tech.
Wow.
The miracle run continues.
The Big Ten's Michigan Wolverines getting the first win in Omaha. How about that? Didn't see that coming. 2-2. Fastball dusts off home plate. Lamuscio stays alive, full count.
We have Florida State, Arkansas today, too. See if another upset can be pulled off in Omaha.
You picked Vandy, right?
Yes.
Over
Texas Tech, so
over
not
Tech.
looking good for me.
All right, they're on the ropes. 3-2. Grounded left side, right at Schmidt. He funnels, throws. Extension by Dodd. He was able to stay on the bag. Good stretch for out number 2. 5-3 to retire Lamuscio. Good start for Holcomb out of the pen.
Lamuccio's gotten down the line quickly both times. Grounded out to the second baseman, Nick Gonzalez, who sat back a little bit, flipped it over to first, and got him by half a step, and just now at third base. Maybe a step away from beating that ball out.
Kettleers ahead 5-2 here in the top of the 5th inning. 2 away, back to the top of the Harwich order. Cam Thompson 0 for 1 with a strikeout looking his last time up. Walked and scored a run in the first. Holcomb's first pitch, crazy breaking ball on the outside corner, 69 miles an hour for a strike.
And just 69 on the curveball, but a sharp break. If you can locate it on that outer half, it's a tough pitch to hit for a left-handed hitter.
0-1 to the left-handed bat and Thompson. Curveball again, yanked out to second. Gonzalez rounds, 3 down. Nicely done, Christopher Holcomb out of the bullpen. 1, 2, and 3 in his Cotuit debut to retire Harwich, and we have played 4.5. The Kettleers and the Mariners. Cotuit's up 5-2. We'll be right back in just a moment. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Nick Gonzalez due up next, then Mason Dodd and Arajnu. Heart of the order, and we have a guest in our broadcast booth. So glad that he could join us. Kettleers starting pitcher Sean Sullivan joins us, a sophomore at Cal Berkeley. You were awesome on Wednesday night against Hyannis, Sean. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Sean pitched 4 scoreless innings, faced 13 batters, and retired 12 of them. Almost 4 perfect innings, but then leadoff double in the 5th, and that was it, right?
Yeah, almost. Just left a fastball over the inner half of the plate. You know, got a little sloppy with it, but it happens.
Blake Espinal still on the hill for Harwich, a left-hander set to make his first full inning of work. Nick Gonzalez bats from the right side. Espinal's out of the stretch. He gets strike 1 over the heart of the plate, 93 miles an hour. So you felt good? Everything went well on Wednesday?
Yeah, everything went, pretty great. Couldn't ask for a better outing, I guess. For my first one, it was pretty good. I was pretty happy with it.
How long ago did you arrive here on the Cape?
Last Tuesday. Yeah, been here for a little over a week. So.
And where are you living at?
I'm living with Fran Maycock and Cheryl McPhillips. They're Cotuit, Newtown Road. Not too far. Everything's like 5 minutes away here, so it's really easy getting around.
How's the adjustment been? You're from the West Coast, from Los Angeles. Have you been to the Cape before? Gonzalez goes down looking. There's one down. But had you been out here before?
No, this is my first time. I've had a really hectic travel schedule the last month because we went to regionals, and then I had to, come back to Berkeley, get all my stuff together, go home for a night, and then come here. And I had a 4-hour flight delay in Charlotte. It was tough. But I got here, and I love it. This is a great place. Definitely a different world from the West Coast, but...
Here's Mason Dodd with 1 out and nobody aboard. Espinal misses way in with a fastball. Had to get out of the way, Dodd, and he scooted out 1-0. How's everything going working with Coach Josh Spence, the pitching coach?
Great. I came here, wanted to figure out my changeup a little bit more, and so far it's working pretty well. Yeah,
nice.
Yeah. Pretty happy with it.
What's in your arsenal of pitches?
4-seam, curveball, slider, changeup. I was working on a splitter. I'm gonna continue to do that and see how it goes. Maybe have an alternative to my changeup. But other than that, that's about it.
How does that come about when you're getting new pitches? Is that just fooling around one day? Do you develop those in high school? Is it just out of curiosity? How does that all work for you?
Honestly, my coaches just kind of wanted wanted to see me throw a little bit, and when I started throwing it, it wasn't looking too bad. So they said, you might as well work on it a little bit, see where it can get you. But yeah, I've been working on it for probably 3 or 4 months. It's turning out all right.
Mm-hmm. And you just finished up your freshman year at Cal, so this is a lot. You're getting done with your first year of college. Now you're in a whole new place, playing with the best college baseball stars. It's got to have been a whirlwind at this point, then.
Yeah. I'm not gonna get overwhelmed by it. It's a lot. This is a great league. This is what I grew up, dreaming of playing in, and I'm just excited I'm here. I'm excited they'll have me to play, and I hope they'll keep me.
Yeah, I think you got a good chance of sticking around, my friend, after Wednesday. It was pretty great. Talking with Sean Sullivan, Kettleers starting pitcher from Cal Berkeley. 3 balls and 2 strikes on Mason Dodd at the plate. Cotuit's up 5-2 here in the bottom of the 5th inning with 1 out and nobody on. So you're a Lakers fan then from L.A.
You know what? I've followed them briefly, in my lifetime. I'm not a huge basketball fan, but yes, I do dawdle in the NBA a little bit.
Nice. Yeah. And so we just got the news. This is as of this afternoon, I think. Anthony Davis is now a Los Angeles Laker.
Yes, he is.
So was that by a trade then, or okay? So they trade? Did they give up anybody big? I don't know.
I'm not sure. Yeah.
But he's going to team up with LeBron. So
yeah, that's gonna be a dirty combo.
Yeah.
Enjoy watching that.
That's pretty crazy. I can't believe they pulled that off.
Yeah.
Just a day or two after the finals ended too.
I know.
Mason Dodd works a 1-out walk. Good eye by him.
And Zion's gonna be left alone in New Orleans.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's a big move. Big move. He'll be alone, and I guess he's going to have to figure it out.
Yeah.
But oh well. Here's Araj Anu. Kettleers up 5-2. Talking with Sean Sullivan, Cal right-handed pitcher for the Cotuit Kettleers. He made his debut on Wednesday and a new blast one. Oh, you could say goodbye to that one. Araj Anu with his 2nd home run of the season. A 2-1 jack to left center field. It brings in Dodd, and the Kettleers pile it on here. 7-2 in the 5th.
That guy is great.
He is indeed. Araj Anu comes on home. He's got a little home run celebration with Mason Dodd as well. They tap helmets along with a back boy in celebration. And the Kettleers open this one up, a 5-run advantage, 7-2. Yeah, he's a beast, man.
Yeah, he's a great kid too. I love him.
A lot of good characters on this team. How's it been getting to know everybody?
It's a lot of fun. It's definitely a lot of fun. I always like meeting new guys on the team. I'm hoping it gets to be a tight-knit group. We're getting there for sure.
It's still early.
Yeah, still some unfamiliar faces for sure, but
here's Colton Kessler, who takes ball 1. Kessler caught you the other night.
Mm-hmm.
How is it working with him?
Great. He's a great partner to be pitching to. Calls a good game. Real good. Real solid with the wrists. Great blocking.
He bloops one on the right side. It's taken by Malinowski for out number 2. Pop up to second base. So you played with Cal, obviously, and that meant that you got to be on the same team as Andrew Vaughn, one of the best in the nation.
Yeah.
How would you describe him?
He is the best baseball player I have seen with my own eyes, on a routine basis. Because obviously, I've seen a lot of big leaguers play, but this guy is the real deal for sure. There's no getting around it.
Here's Casey Schmidt, swing and a miss for strike 1. Kettleers up 7-2 in the bottom of the 5th. 2 outs, nobody aboard. Sean Sullivan joining our broadcast booth. Did he say anything to you before you came out here? Cape League advice?
No, not really. I really didn't know a lot coming in. I thought this was going to be a lot different. I had a buddy, Jared Horn, our ace this year, got drafted.
He played on Wareham last year. Was really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But he gave me a little advice. He told me about Cotuit and what to expect, and I was pretty happy. So,
what did you envision coming in at first?
Definitely used to Field with Lights, that's for sure.
Yep. As Schmidt grounds out to third to end the inning. So Field with Lights, but It's still a pretty darn good field. You've got to say that.
Yeah, no, I'm very happy with it. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, good stuff, my friend. That's Sean Sullivan, right-handed pitcher out of Cal, joined us in the broadcast booth. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Appreciate the time. Yeah. All right. Good luck the rest of the summer. We'll see you around. Kettleers extend the lead 7-2 through 5 innings of play. Arajanu with a 2-run home run. Be back in a moment for the 6th here on the Cape Cod Baseball Network.
Gallen as he nubs it foul. So 0-2 to Gallen. Walsh was the Gatorade Player of the Year in 2015 in Massachusetts. It's his second outing for the Kettleers. The 0-2. Fouled off. Fouled off of Kessler. Rolls over to the first base dugout.
Yeah, he took that one on the mask. Ricochet off the foul tip. Hopefully Colton's okay.
Joey Walsh has given up 1 run in 2 1/3 innings pitched. He's struck out 2 so far this summer. The 0-2. Taken down. 1-2. Cam Williams, a shortstop, shades a little bit over to his right. Casey Schmidt playing down the line. The scouting report must be pull on Chris Gallen. The 1-2. Grounded over to Casey Schmidt. He fields it on a backhand, fires it over to first, and it'll get past Dodd. Gallen will sprint into second base in a pop-up slide, and he'll get into second. We'll score that an error for those keeping the book at home. So the scouting report was right. Casey Schmidt was playing down the line, got the backhand, was not able to get enough on the throw, short hopped the first baseman Dodd, and Gallen was able to advance to second.
Yeah, it was a good call by you, my friend, but unfortunately a poor throw from Schmidt. Tough for Dodd to dig it out at first base, and it's a second error of the afternoon on the Kettleers, but fortunately those 2 errors have not really come back to bite him.
So that brings up Bobby Seymour, the DH, 3-hitter for this Mariner Ball Club. Walsh takes a long look at second and deals. It's laced out into left field. Coming in, fielding it is Ellis. And he'll throw it into the infield as Galland will hold at third. So another opposite field single for Seymour. And now runners on the corners, nobody away. So now the cleanup hitter, Nico Kavatis. The first pitch to the left-handed hitter is a fastball, actually. Foul tipped into the glove of Kessler, strike one. 93 on the gun from Joey Walsh right there. So already 2 errors on the day for the Kettleers. 3 errors last night. They've been bailed out by their offense the last 2 nights so far. The 0-1. Line drive into right field, and that'll score 1. A base hit by Nico Kavatis. So it's now 7-3 as Harwich is chipping away in the top of the 6th. First and second, nobody away. And now Chris Lanzilli.
This is a big spot now. Harwich is pulled back within 4 runs. Still some time left in this ball game. Nobody out in the top of the 6th inning. Couple unfortunate breaks for Joey Walsh on the hill, starting off the inning with an error, and then just a little poke single into left. Then a slash into right by Kavatis to drive in a run. Harwich comes back to life on offense after going scoreless from the 2nd up to the 6th here.
And Coach Mike Roberts will come out to talk to Joey Walsh. We'll see if he sticks with his southpaw. So Bobby Seymour stands on second, had the opposite field single. Then Nico Kavatis at first base had the pull side single to right field that scored Chris Galland, who reached on the error by the third baseman Casey Schmidt. It looks like we'll go to a new pitcher. It's Bo Hofstra. We'll have more on him when we get back. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. The new arm for the Cotuit Kettleers out of Purdue. 6'5", 235-pound righty. Had a great year this past spring. 24 appearances. Was the closer for that Boilermaker team. Picked up 7 saves and a 1.68 ERA. He's had 2 scoreless outings for the Kettleers this summer, striking out 3 in 2 1/3 innings. He's been that back end guy that's really shut the door the first couple games for Coach Roberts and his Kettleers Ball Club trying to bridge the gap to the closer, Kyle Nicholas. The first pitch, taken up, ball one.
This is a really big spot. Harwich could tie the game, not tie the game, but pull within 1 run on one swing of the bat by Chris Lansley here at the plate. You need Hofstra to get all 3 outs in this inning.
Hofstra comes set, kicks and deals the 1-0. Another fastball misses up. Lansley, a guy that can easily leave the yard. 16 homers this past season. Slugged .620. He could easily get this into a 1-run ball game. Swing and a miss on a 91-mile-an-hour fastball. Big strike for Bo Hofstra, 2-1. On second base is Bobby Seymour. First base, Nico Cavadas. Both reached on a pair of singles. So 2-1. Swing and a miss. 2-2. Hofstra blows another fastball by him. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 men on. Nobody away. Bo Hofstra tries to stop the bleeding. Long look down to his catcher, Kessler. He comes set at the belt, kicks and deals the 2-2. A check swing. They'll check over to first base, and Dave Baveros says he didn't go. So full now to the 5-hitter, Chris Lansley. Shadows start to cast across Lowell Park. Hofstra comes set, deals the payoff pitch. Fastball on the outside corner, strike 3, a big out for Bo Hofstra and the Kettleers.
Good job, Bo Hofstra, coming out of the pen, coming back after that last check swing, staying tough, making sure that he finished it off with a 3rd strike. Huge out to get Lansley, and now you got a double play in order if you get your ground ball.
And Dan Henry behind home plate's been calling that pitch all game long.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Is it a strike? Maybe not, but you got to adjust. It's the 6th inning. We've seen about a half dozen guys get rung up on that exact pitch. First pitch is fouled off of Kessler's mask and into the backstop. It's Eduardo Milanowski. He grounded out to shortstop his first at-bat, reached on an error his second at-bat. A Cam Williams error he threw over the first baseman's head. 1 away, Seymour on second, Cavadas on first. Ball's lifted out into right center. Shavers fights the sun. Camps under it, makes the grab. There's no tag from Seymour. So 2 away. The top of the second, Bo Hofstra picks up 2 big outs.
Well, we're in the top of the 6th right now. I believe, I don't think that's Kyle Nicholas getting loose right now, but I believe we would see Kyle Nicholas if Harwich got back within 1 more run to make it a 3-run ball game, save situation game. Maybe even we see him if it's still a 7-3 game in the 9th, but I figure that you see Bo Hofstra for this inning and probably the 7th, and then maybe 1 more to set it up in the 8th. Or it could be Nicholas for 6 outs again like we saw on opening day.
First pitch of Dempsey's fouled off down the right side. Well, we'll see how Coach Roberts decides to use his bullpen today. Of course, the doubleheader coming up tomorrow for Father's Day at YD. Going to need a lot of pitching. It's going to be all hands on deck for that doubleheader. But, of course, the focus has to be to win this ball game here. So we'll see. Kyle Nicholas hasn't pitched in a few days. Definitely available tonight. The 0-1 misses at the letters, 1-1.
It's going to be a huge challenge tomorrow at YD. That's going to be a tough doubleheader. I think we'll see a little more of what the Kettleers are made of. Hard place to play on the road and against a good ball club in YD.
1-1. Fouled straight back, 2-1. As Kessler popped up, he was ready to throw behind the runner on first base, Cavadas. Fortunately for him, it was fouled away. So 1-2, Hofstra 1 pitch away from limiting the damage to 1 run and bailing out his teammate, Joey Walsh. Shortstop Brian Dempsey 0 for 2 on the day with a strikeout, and he bunted out. Grounds it out to the shortstop, Cam Williams. Will go the short way to second base and flip it over to Gonzalez for the third out of the inning. So the Mariners get one back, but the score still remains 7-3. We'll go into the bottom of the sixth. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Nine for the Kettleers. It'll be Parker Shavers, Cam Williams, and Duke Ellis. The first pitch, fastball on the outer half, strike one. Blake Espinal, the southpaw, will face the left-handed hitting Shavers, the switch hitter Cam Williams, and then the left-handed hitting Duke Ellis. Ball's nubbed foul. Quickly ahead 0-2. Espinal in his third inning of work. Shavers bat just above the shoulder. Slightly open stance awaits the 0-2. Curveball blocked by the catcher, Oldham. So 1-2 to Shavers. Shavers has a pair of doubles on the day. One to left center, one to right center. The 1-2. Outside corner, strike three. Got him looking. So Shavers is retired for the first time this ball game. And now Cam Williams will bat from the right side. We saw him homer from the left side in his last AB. Williams, a transfer from Dallas Baptist, played last year at San Jacinto College, and will play his baseball at the University of Texas in Austin next season. Swings through a curveball, first pitch, 0-1. Really easy to get excited about the middle of the infield with Gonzalez and Williams, an athletic duo up the middle. As he takes high, 1-1.
Both have played well and shown good traits. Everybody on this Cotuit Ball Club really brings something different to the table. Power or an ability to get on base. We've seen four really good starting pitchers, including Jackson Wolf today.
Ground ball to the shortstop, Dempsey. He fields it on a hop, throws it against his body. Makes a nice play to get the speedy runner, Cam Williams. To score that one 6-3. Now quickly 2 away. Bring up the 9-hitter, Duke Ellis. Ellis singled in his last at-bat, struck out swinging in his first. one of the few returning Kettleers this season. The first pitch to Ellis, taken down the middle, strike one. So third baseman Thompson cheats in a little bit. Of course, Ellis, a speedster, always a threat to bunt. Espinal comes set, kicks and deals the 0-1. Fouled straight back. 0-2. Ellis with the maroon batting gloves, white wrist tape on both arms, and the show me socks as well. One of the few players sporting the mid-calves today we were talking about earlier.
He did that last year.
0-2 is lined in the other way to left field. Another base hit for Duke Ellis. Two opposite field singles by the 9-hitter. And he'll flip the lineup back over. It'll be Cam Hill.
That's his game. The Duke is back in Cotuit. 2 for 3 already with a couple of little base hits into left.
We'll see how long he stays at first base. We know Coach Roberts likes to send his runners on the move.
And remember, 17 for 17 with Texas this past spring on stealing bases.
So Cam Hill, the leadoff hitter. And Ellis is on the move. And he'll slide in easily as the ball gets past the catcher. So Ellis might have had that ball or that bag swiped anyways, but the catcher Oldham went to rear back and fire, and it seemed to just get out of his hand.
I don't think it would have been close if a throw was there. Make him 1 for 1 on steals here in the Cape League.
Ellis was going on the first move, and Espinal was already committed to going to home plate. But it was a called strike. And now Hill swings and misses on a curveball, so it's 0-2. Ellis, of course, a lot of speed out there at second base. Should easily score on a single. Cam Hill already has a 2-out RBI single this ball game. Was hit by a pitch in his first at-bat, struck out looking in his third. Swing and a miss. Got him on another curveball. So it'll be the third out of the inning, but we'll go into the top of the 7th. The score remains 7-3. The Kettleers were able to scratch for one single, but nothing to show for it. One hit, no runs, no errors, one left on. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Was able to wiggle out of the jam inherited from Joey Walsh. First and second, no outs. Was able to set down the next 3 batters. So he'll look to put up another 0. He will get Matt Oldham, the catcher, Joe Lamugio, the 9-hitter, and then the top of the order, Cam Thompson. Oldham 0 for 2. Pair of strikeouts looking. Talked about guys adjusting to that fastball on the outside corner that's been called. Oldham has K'd twice looking on that exact pitch. First pitch is grounded over to first base. Dodd comes in, fields it on a hop, takes it himself for the first out of the ball game. Or the inning, rather. Had plenty of outs this ball game.
Absolutely. One gone here in the top of the 7th. Bo Hofstra here in the 7th. Wonder who we would get in the 8th. Would not be surprised again if Kyle Nicholas comes in with the Kettleers up 7-3 to try and get another 6-out save, or if there would be a setup man for the eighth, or if Hofstra would just keep on chugging.
First pitch to Lemuzio. It's taken in the dirt. Ball 1. Yeah, we've seen Nicholas make that 6-out save before. We're not sure if Coach wants him available tomorrow. May just go 1 inning. 1-0. Taken up and out. Ball 2. Lemuzio, a pair of groundouts so far today. He's been busting it down the line, though. About a half step both times from being safe. 2-0. Fastball. Crowds him inside. 3-0.
96 on that last heater from Bo.
Hofstra can run it up there. He's a big guy, 6'5", 235. Pretty effortless velocity from him. And he misses. 4 consecutive balls. Walks the 9-hitter. Not something you want to do if you're Bo Hofstra. That'll flip things back over to the top of the order. Cam Thompson, the third baseman. Thompson 0 for 2 on the day. Struck out looking in the third. Grounded out to second base in the 5th. Walked in his first at-bat and ended up scoring on the error. Hofstra comes set. Kicks and deals. Misses down, ball 1. Thompson bats from the left side. The outfielder is a senior out of Kansas State in Pasadena, Texas. The 1-0. Grounded off the third base dugout towards the Kettleers foul. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 away. The speedy Joe Lemuzio on first base. 7 runs on 9 hits for the Kettleers. Just 3 runs on 4 hits for the Harwich Mariners. They try to climb back into this one with just 8 outs remaining. Hofstra comes set at the belt. Picks over to first base. Lemuzio dives in time. Hofstra, a big guy. Sometimes those 6'5" guys are easier to steal on. Typically a little slower to the plate, but Hofstra's doing a good job of keeping Lemuzio close to first base. Hofstra kicks and deals. 1-1 on the outer half, strike 2.
That's a good job by Bo to just take a little bit off the fastball, make sure you got the spot. Now he's ahead. You got your middle infield ready for a ground ball. Keep it low.
Hofstra shakes off the sign from Kessler. Finally agrees, comes set. The 1-2. Swing and a miss, blows it by him, 92 on the gun. The second out of the inning is a strikeout.
That works too. 2 down now, and big matchup coming up here against Chris Galland.
So Galland from the right side, the 2-hitter. Junior out of Boston College awaits the first pitch. Takes a curveball, strike 1. Hofstra's looked sharp every outing so far this year. Of course, this is his 3rd outing. All over the plate, control hasn't been an issue. Lemuzio is one of the first times we've seen him walk someone on 4 pitches. Picks off over to first base again. Lemuzio gets his jersey even more dirty. So he dives in head first for the 3rd time. Hofstra working quickly, comes set. Lemuzio's on the run. Kessler throws over to second base, and he's in time. The ball go into center field. Lemuzio dives in easily. Holds up at second as he loses his helmet. Cam Williams picks it up and gives it to him. Great jump by Lemuzio. The throw from Kessler tailed arm side and got past Gonzalez, but fortunately for the Kettleers, Cam Hill backing up. Able to pick that thing up before Lemuzio could advance. So runner in scoring position here. Galland at the plate. The 1-1. Fastball, strike 2. So Galland picked up a single in the first inning. Grounded out in the third and reached on an error in the sixth. Hofstra one pitch away from getting out of the seventh. Swing and a miss on a curveball. He does get out. So a good inning by Hofstra. Strands Lamugio at second base, and we'll go into the home half of the seventh. Score remains 7-3. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. For the Kettleers will be a new pitcher for Harwich. It's Connor McCullough, right-handed pitcher out of Kansas State, a transfer from Arkansas, sat out this past year. We'll get the heart of this Kettleers order, Nick Gonzalez. Then Mason Dodd and Araj Anu. First pitch to Gonzalez is swung on and missed. Strike one. Gonzalez yet to reach base today. Came into today's game with a .611 on-base percentage. The 0-1. Curveball taken for strike two. Nice pitch from McCullough. So Gonzalez will try and battle back from 0-2. The 0-2. Lined just foul down the third base line. It's a curveball that Gonzalez just couldn't wait long enough on, but got a nice piece. So we'll do 0-2 one more time. McCullough from the windup. The 0-2 misses up and in. Nick Gonzalez limbos out of the way of that one. And he'll regain his composure a little bit. There's a fastball up near the eyes. He bent back and fell down towards the ground. He catches his breath, gathers himself, and gets ready to wait for the 1-2 pitch from McCullough. Quickly throws 1-2 curveball that misses in. Great job by Gonzalez there, who just got brushed back with a fastball and hung in there on a curveball on the inner half.
Just never feels like there's two strikes on this guy.
He is a tough out. Any way you stretch it. The 2-2. Fastball up and in. 3-2. Great job by Gonzalez to work it back full. Gonzalez adjusts his batting gloves. Looks out at the pitcher, McCullough, and awaits the payoff pitch. Fastball up. He takes 4 straight balls after falling behind 0-2. So a walk for Nick Gonzalez. A great job to work back from the 0-2 count.
Nick Gonzalez has now reached base in all 5 games to open up the season for the Kettleers. Exactly what Mike Roberts wants to see from his second baseman in the number 2 spot of the lineup.
So Mason Dodd strides to the plate. 0 for 2 on the day with a walk. Pickoff over to first base. Gonzalez is able to get in standing up. Dodd reached on a walk and scored. Has a pair of runs today. Also reached on a fielder's choice in the first. First pitch of Dodd is lined into left center. And it'll fall for a base hit. Gonzalez takes a big turn around second. He'll retreat back. So a nice bloop single by Mason Dodd the other way. And the Kettleers are in business. Runners on first and second, no one out. That brings up Araj Anu. You saw him just go deep in his last at-bat from the right side. He comes up from the left side against the right-handed pitching McCullough. The first pitch to Anu. Big swing and a miss on a curveball.
Mason Dodd's base hit marks the 10th of the ball game for the Kettleers. Kettleers have now piled up double-digit hits in their last 3 games. That's pretty impressive.
0-1 to Anu. Another curveball. He doubles up on it. 0-2. You have 26 runs in the last 2 games and 7 innings for the Kettleers. It's hard to lose when you're putting up runs at that clip.
And when you combine it with the pitching, tough to beat.
Triples up on the curveball and gets Anu to swing and miss. Good job by McCullough to get the big power hitting Anu. I'll bring up another lefty, Colton Kessler.
I know Kessler had the 2-run triple to tie things up initially in the bottom of the first inning. But I feel like he's due for something even bigger. That was a hanging fly ball. We talked a little bit about it. Lansley was kind of not really sure of how to make the play. Feel like he could really break this one open in a 7-3 game favoring the Kettleers.
He's been taking some big hacks, just not able to catch up to some high fastballs his first couple at bats as he takes a curveball. Good job blocking it by Oldham. So Gonzalez on second reached on a walk. Dodd on first reached on a base hit. 1 out. And the catcher Colton Kessler at the plate. Swings through a fastball in the outer half. 1-1. Kessler's been having his rips, just swinging through a lot of fastballs. Didn't mention he was feeling a little under the weather the last couple of days. Sometimes that bat can feel heavy when you're fighting a cold. Kessler awaits the 1-1. Good take on a curveball. Dropped out of the zone, and Oldham will go talk to his pitcher. Kessler showing good discipline, able to lay off the 2 breaking balls. Had a big hack at the fastball. 2-1. As you mentioned, Sam, he had the triple in the first inning that's plated 2. Struck out in the 4th, and then flew out to the infield in the 5th. Kessler taps his cleats, knocks some dirt off of him. Takes a deep breath, taps home plate twice, touches the brim of his helmet, and waits the 2-1. The 2-1 is grounded over to the second baseman, Malinowski, who goes to second base. Kessler will get there in time to score that a fielder's choice. 4-6.
Just a little out in front of that pitch. Hit it to the pull side. Good job by Dodd to slide it into the second and make sure that there wasn't a relay throw for a double play. Casey Schmidt's been about good for an RBI per game this season. 5 of them on the year, despite only racking up 3 total hits. Maybe get some extra insurance for the Kettleers with runners on the corners and 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th.
So Gonzalez advanced to third on the ground out to second. That pitch is popped up. We'll see if it's playable. Catcher Oldham looks like he has a beat on it, but it lands right on home plate, and Casey Schmidt didn't even run. As the wind blew that ball back into fair territory, Casey Schmidt, who stayed at home plate, was not able to beat it out to first base, didn't even take a step towards first base. So Oldham picked it up as it bounced right in front of home plate and made the easy throw over to first base. So that's why you always run. You're always taught run no matter what. If it's fouled back, obviously it looked like it was going to be out of play, but the wind blew it back into fair territory. It even fooled the catcher, Oldham, but he's able to get bailed out by the fact that Casey Schmidt didn't run, so he picked the ball up, threw it over to first base, and that'll be an unusual third out of the inning. Will never surprise you with baseball, but we'll go into the top of the 8th. My friend Sam Niederman will take you home. 7-3 Kettleers on an unusual bottom of the 7th inning. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Around the Cape, the Wareham Gatemen beat up on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks 12-5. That one's final. The rest of the games are still in progress in the top of the 8th. Of course, we're winning. Cotuit Kettleers are winning 7-3. The Bourne Braves lead the Falmouth Commodores 5-2 in the top of the 5th. The Brewster Whitecaps up 1-0 in the top of the 2nd over Orleans. And Yarmouth Dennis leads Chatham 1-0 in the top of the 2nd. Sam, take us home.
All righty, thank you, Arm. Top of the 8th, Kettleers up 7-3. Bo Hofstra on for his 3rd inning of work out of the pen. Bobby Seymour grounds the first pitch he sees up the middle. Backhand pick by Williams right behind second, but a wayward throw that took Dodd off the bag and scattered to the first base dugout. Good backup by Colton Kessler. One pitch and an infield hit for Bobby Seymour to get things going for Harwich here in the top of the 8th.
Yep, score that a single at home. It nicked off the glove of Hofstra. A great job by Cam Williams to even have a shot at that. Took a stab at it. Tough throw on the run. Short hopped the first baseman Dodd. Not even sure if it would have been able to get him if it got there in time.
Well, it looks like Mike Roberts is ready to go to his bullpen. Bo Hofstra has worked 2+ innings, but his day might be done after giving up the single to Seymour. Roberts goes out to the hill. He takes the ball away from the big right-hander, and he's going back to the bullpen. We'll get you the new pitcher when we return. One runner on for Harwich. Nobody out. Top of the 8th. Kettleers 7. Harwich 3. We'll be right back in just a moment. This is Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. have the lead 7-3, and it's Kyle Nicholas time. Nicholas comes out of the bullpen. The Kettleers stopper, a right-hander out of Ball State University, 6'3", 205, redshirt sophomore. His second appearance on the summer. First one was a good one. 2 strong innings, a 6-out save on opening day to get a win against YD, and he's up against the cleanup batter in Harwich's order, Nico Cavadas. 1 for 3 with an RBI single today. And the big first baseman from Notre Dame goes up against the big right-hander from Ball State. A couple of Indiana schools battling here. Seymour the lead at first, held on by Dodd. Nicholas a leg lift, and he whips in a 94-mile-an-hour fastball inside, ball 1. Ball State beat Notre Dame in baseball twice this season by final scores of 6-2 and 2-0. Cavadas went a combined 0 for 7 in those 2 matchups. 1-0. Fastball smacked high in the air on the left side of the infield. Williams calls for it, circles back, leaps down, but then the ball hits the dirt. It trickles into short center field, and that's down. Cavadas safe at first, and Seymour up to second. A pop fly on the left side of the infield that was taken by the wind. Williams called off Schmidt at the last moment, waving his arms in the air. He had to shuffle back towards second base, and the next thing you know, the ball hit the dirt. Fastball dives below the zone, 1-0. Nicholas against Notre Dame. We're talking about Cavadas, who's now on first. Won one of those games with a save. He pitched 3 innings and struck out 7 in that span. Didn't allow a hit or a run. 1-0. Lace right back up the middle into center for a base hit. Seymour held up at third. Everybody moves up 1. A single by Chris Lansley to load the bases, and Harwich is in real business here in the 8th. Bases loaded, nobody out.
And the biggest part of that base hit is you bring the tying run to the plate. I mean, that's why they didn't even wave the runner on third home, because it doesn't really do anything for you there. Why risk the out? They got the tying run to the plate here, and still 6 outs to go.
It's a 7-3 ball game. Cotuit has the lead, top of the 8th, but Harwich has the bases loaded. Kyle Nicholas out of the bullpen, the right-hander from Ball State, to try and lock this thing down for Cotuit. Here's Eduardo Malinowski, the second baseman, 0 for 3. First pitch curveball, hangs, but doesn't get the inside corner. 1 ball and no strikes. Malinowski, a bounce out to short, reached on an error at short, and then flew out to right his last time up. 1-0 from Nicholas. High heat, check swing. He did go around according to the home plate umpire. 1 ball and 1 strike.
And that's Malinowski just probably not seeing much of high 90s there. That ball was about out his eyes, but he's cheating and was ready to swing before he even saw that pitch. Obviously, the Ivy League has some good arms, but I don't know how many guys in that league are running it up to 96, 97 like Nicholas can.
7-3 Cotuit in the 8th. 1-1, wave and a miss by Malinowski. Nicholas gets ahead in the count, 1-2. Bo Hofstra began the inning on the mound, gave up an infield single to Bob Seymour. He was pulled. Nicholas came in. Cavadas reached on an error, or what they're now calling a hit at short, a little pop-up. And then Lansley singled into center. Bases loaded, nobody out. 1-2. Fastball spoiled away, foul. Malinowski stays alive. 7 runs on 10 hits, 2 errors for Cotuit at home, 3 runs on 7 hits, no errors for Harwich on the road. Kettleers seeking their 3rd consecutive victory to start the season 4-1. Harwich looking to get back to 500 at 1-2 right now. Lansley on first, Cavadas on second, Seymour at third. 1-2 breaking ball, knocked away, foul again. Breezy afternoon here in Cotuit. The sun setting down, getting a little darker. Still a blue sky overhead with patches of clouds brightened up with the sun behind them. Kettleers by 4, 7-3 here in the top of the 8th inning. Nobody holding on the runners. Dodd plays in on the lip of the grass at first. 1-2. Just nipped away, foul by Malinowski. Colton Kessler comes out behind home plate and picks up a scrap piece of paper that blew out onto the field. Pockets it, puts on his mask, We're ready to go again. Cotuit up 7-3. Top of the 8th, nobody out. Bases loaded for Harwich. Tying run at the plate in Malinowski. Nicholas the 1-2. Breaking pitch, swing and a miss in the dirt. Smothered by Kessler, and that's a huge out, number 1.
And you pair that sharp breaking ball with a 96-mile-an-hour fastball, and he can be unhittable when he's locating.
1 down, bases still loaded. The number 7 batter comes to the plate for Harwich, Brian Dempsey, the shortstop from Boston College. 0 for 3, reached on a fielder's choice his last time in the 6th. Corners of the infield even with either base. Middle infielders ready, force at any base. First pitch, knocked on the ground, foul, left side. 0-1 on Dempsey, or Demps, as he's affectionately known by his manager Steve Englert. Englert's signature writing down nicknames on the lineup card, something that he's done all 17 seasons in Harwich. 7-3 Cotuit in the 8th, bases loaded with 1 out. 0-1. Hard fastball, just a little too high though at 96 miles an hour, 1-1. Runners take their leads, nobody holds on. Cotuit by 4 in the 8th. Bases loaded with 1 out. 1-1. Good fastball. Outside part of the plate, strike 2. The Kettleers had scored 7 unanswered after 5. Harwich got 1 back in the 6th on Cavadas' RBI single. He's on second with teammates surrounding him at first and third. Dempsey at the plate, 1-2. Fastball down in the dirt, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Nicholas comes down off the hill, mad that he missed his spot, slaps his mitt on the catch of the return from Kessler, and now gets ready to reset on the rubber. (7-3) Kettleers in the visiting half of the 8th. Harwich, the bases loaded with 1 out. 2-2. Fastball down in the dirt again. Full count now on Dempsey.
This is a monumental pitch here. You don't want to put the tying run on base, but it's already bad enough you got the tying run at the plate. Put it in the zone, challenge him with that fastball. If he can hit it, tip your cap.
Nicholas sets the 3-2. Sliced into right field, playable for Chavers. He's got it for out number 2. Seymour tags from third and comes home to score. RBI sac fly by Brian Dempsey. That makes it a 7-4 ball game, but at this point the Kettleers will trade that run for an out.
Absolutely, that's a big out for Nicholas. Going right after him there. If he can split the gap or if he can put one out of here, like I said, you'll tip your cap to him. But goes right after him, is able to induce the fly ball. And just 1 run. You only need 4 more outs here to win this ball game.
2 down here in the top of the 8th. Kettleers nursing a 7-4 lead. Seymour scores on the sac fly by Dempsey. Cavadas, the trailing runner, up to third base. Lansley still on first. Runners on the corners from Matt Oldham, the left-handed batting catcher, who's 0 for 3. First pitch from Nicholas, a hard fastball on the inside corner, strike 1. Cotuit's offense powered by some big hits today. A 2-run triple by Kessler, 2-run home run by Williams, and a 2-run blast by Anu. Nicholas checks on Lansley at first. Harwich has gotten back into this thing. An RBI single by Cavadas in the 6th to make it a 4-run game. And the sac fly by Dempsey to pull it within 3 here in the 8th. First and third with 2 outs. Nicholas heaves the shoulders, now comes set. His 0-1. Fastball out. 1 ball and 1 strike now on Oldham. Pinch hitter due up on deck for Harwich. Joey Weimer Jr. out of Cincinnati stands in the on-deck circle. Nicholas, the 1-1. Popped up foul into the parking lot. 1 ball and 2 strikes now. Sunset here on Cape Cod. A bright yellow glow on the trees in right field. Everything else covered up by the shadows. First and third, 2 outs. 1-2. Breaking pitch in the dirt. Swing and a miss by Oldham, but it scoots behind Kessler. Seymour comes in to score, and the runner safe at first in Oldham. And the inning continues for Harwich. A strikeout by Nicholas, but it was a drop third strike. That allowed the batter to reach safely at first, and the run came home to score, and Cotuit actually from third. So now it's a 2-run ball game, 7-5 here in the top of the 8th.
And that should have got Nicholas out of the inning. A great job to pick up the strikeout. Kessler's been so good behind the plate this season. Really bad time to lose control there and blocking behind the plate. But, of course, Nicholas is not the easiest of pitchers to handle with how sharp his stuff is and how hard he throws.
Harwich keeps the 8th inning alive. 2 down, and now 2 runners on for a pinch hitter in the number 9 spot, Joey Weimer Jr., a right-handed bat from Cincinnati, 6'3", 215. He has an opportunity representing the go-ahead run at home plate. Kettleers lead at 7-5 in the 8th. First pitch from Nicholas, sawed away foul, a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. Harwich with 2 home in this inning. Seymour scored on the sac fly, Cotuit on the drop third strike. First and second with 2 outs for the pinch hitter and Weimer. Nicholas ready at the set. 0-1. Slider just curves out of the zone, 1-1. (7-5) Cotuit, top of the 8th, 2 on and 2 out. Nicholas spins back to check on the lead runner and lands a lead. Nobody holding on. Kettleers play the defense normal and straight up. (1-1). Breaking pitch, down and out. 2 balls and a strike to the pinch hitter and Weimer.
Very unusual stance from
Yeah,
Weimer.
I was just
very
thinking the
upright,
same.
hands high like Craig Counsell almost, but then he takes that big leg kick and settles into his legs. Takes a big hack, too.
He kind of twirls the bat like it's a lightsaber or something, kind of Kevin Youkilis-esque. 2-1 from Nicholas at 98, but too high. It missed the zone. 3 balls and a strike. Harwich with a go-ahead run at the plate. Cotuit has the lead, though, 7-5 here in the top of the 8th. First and second with 2 outs. Nicholas ready at the stretch. He needs a strike. 3-1. Gets a strike. Good fastball. 3-2 now. Now the Cotuit crowd on the third base side starts to clap a little bit and try and inject a little energy into this ball game. Kettleers trying to get out of the inning. Oldham on first. Lansley on second with 2 away. 3-2. Hit in the air, just on 1 hop to second. Gonzalez Fields throws in the dirt, and it's dug out by Dodd for the final out of the inning. Cotuit gets out of it. Harwich scores 2, though, to pull back within 2 runs. It's a 7-5 ball game. Kettleers still have the lead heading into the bottom of the 8th. We'll be right back in just a moment. This is Cotuit Kettleers Baseball. Bottom of the 8th inning, Kettleers still have the advantage over Harwich, 7-5, and a chance to add on to it. Bottom of the order due up, 7, 8, 9. Parker Chavers, Cam Williams, and Duke Ellis up against a new pitcher for Harwich. Left-handed pitcher out of Elon University, Jared Weatherby comes on. 5'10", 200 pounds, a junior from Fiskdale, Mass. That's in rural western Mass. And he has a chance here to at least keep his team within reach. Harwich got back 2 runs in the top of the 8th inning. 1 a sac fly and 1 on a drop third strike that got behind Colton Kessler. Sam Niederman alongside Arm Layton. Glad that you could join us, spending your Saturday afternoon here at Lowell Park with us. Arm, what do you look for in this inning for the Kettleers to try and get some insurance, close out this ballgame?
Well, of course, you got the left-handed pitcher coming in facing the lefty, and then the switch hitter, and then the lefty and Duke Ellis. So try and find a way on board. Of course, it's harder to hit southpaws if you're a left-handed hitter. Maybe bunt. Try and scrap for a run or two here because we don't know if they're going to go to Nicholas after a pretty laborious 8th inning.
First pitch from Weatherby, 89-mile-an-hour fastball, sinks in the dirt at the ankles of Chavers. 1 ball and no strikes. Chavers, a nice afternoon today. 2 for 3, a pair of doubles, and a pair of runs scored. 1-0 pitch. Lifted in the air, left side of the infield. Should be playable for Thompson in foul ground. Curves under it and bags it for out number 1. Chavers retired by Weatherby. Here's Cam Williams. 1 for 3, a 2-run bomb that came back in the 4th, and boy did he get a hold of that one.
An absolute liner that just got out of here in a hurry.
7-5 Cotuit. Bottom of the 8th inning. 1 out. Nobody on for Cam Williams. Switch hitter who bats from the right side against a lefty in Weatherby. Little guy winds up and bends in a 71-mile-an-hour curveball for strike 1. Williams, a native of Tampa, Florida. Set to play for the Texas Longhorns next spring. Waves and misses at the 0-1. This time a fastball from Weatherby. 93 on the gun. 0-2.
Excellent change in velocity there. You saw the 75-mile-an-hour loopy curveball, and then he blows 93 by Williams.
0-2, fastball out, 1 ball and 2 strikes. It's getting really windy here at Lowell Park. The trees in the outfield swaying along with the wind. It's not too cold here in our booth, but all the fans have put on their layers, hoodies or jackets for the Cape Cod cool down at night. 1-2 from Weatherby. Another fastball misses everything. 2-2 on Cam. Cotuit's Kettleers up 7-5 on Harwich's Mariners. We're in the bottom of the 8th with 1 out and the bases empty. 2-2 pitch to Williams. Curveball popped up right side of the infield. Malinowski under it. He's got it at second base. 2 down. Chavers and Williams retired. That brings up Duke Ellis. Don't forget to join us tomorrow. It's a special Father's Day doubleheader here on Cape Cod. The Kettleers take on the YD Red Sox on the road at Red Wilson Field. That one starts out at 2 p.m. Going to be fun. Back-to-back 7-inning games. Kettleers jockeying with YD, who's currently up 1-0 at Chatham. Chance for the Red Sox to move in to a tie for first place. 0-1 curveball. Sways onto the outside corner. Good look from Weatherby, and he's ahead in the count. 0-2 on Ellis. Lemuscio, or rather that's Weimer, plays a little bit towards left center and center field. Ellis looks at a fastball at his shins. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Cotuit up 7-5 here in the home half of the 8th inning. Bases clear, 2 away. Ellis, the left-handed bat, 2 for 3 today with a pair of singles in his return with the Kettleers. Weatherby's 1-2, called strike at the knees, 94 miles an hour. Ellis looks at it, and that concludes the inning. Kettleers go down in order to conclude the 8th. But we're on to the top of the 9th, and Cotuit's got a 7-5 lead over Harwich. Kyle Nicholas back on to try and get the final 3 outs of this one and lock up the fourth win of the season for Cotuit. We'll be right back with that in just a moment. This is Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Cotuit up 7-5 on Harwich. Top of the 9th inning, Kyle Nicholas back on. The right-hander from Ball State looks to secure his second 6-out save of the season. He did it on opening day against YD. He'll try to do it against Harwich here, and he's up against the top of their lineup, Thompson, Galland, and Seymour. 1, 2, and 3 standing in the way of the Kettleers from a 4-1 start. Nicholas out of the windup. Kicks in, delivers, swing and a miss on a 93-mile-an-hour fastball. Strike one. Sam Niederman alongside Aram Layton, our Cotuit media crew. Hundreds of fans here at Lowell Park enjoying a Saturday afternoon of Cape League ball. 0-1 fastball up at the shoulders, 1-1 to Thompson. He's 0 for 3 with a pair of strikeouts, a walk back in the first, and a run scored. Harwich got out to a 2-0 lead in the top of the first. Kettleers scored 7 unanswered. And Harwich has come back with 3 straight of their own. Thompson spoils it off foul off the roof of the Kettleer kitchen. And some youngsters go to try and get the ball on a ricochet. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Schmidt shades over to the right side of the infield a little bit at third. 1-2 breaking ball. That's in there. Called strike 3. Kyle Nicholas off to the right foot here in the 9th. 1 down. Thompson down on strikes for the 3rd time today. He's got the hat trick of K's. Here's Chris Galland. 1 for 4, a single and 2 runs scored. Reached on an error in the 6th, struck out swinging in the 7th.
And control was really an issue for Nicholas this past spring. 47 walks and 51 innings, but I haven't seen any of that so far this summer in Nicholas's 3 outings.
He misses with a fastball, 1-0 now on Galland. Kettleer infield plays normal. Schmidt back to his regular station at third. 1-0 pitch. Slider downstairs, 2-0. Hofstra started out the 8th on the mound for Cotuit, gave up an infield hit. Nicholas came in, gave up an error, a single, strikeout, sac fly, dropped 3rd strike that extended the inning, and then got a ground out to end the inning. 1 out, nobody aboard for Harwich. 7-5 Kettleers here in the 9th. 2-1 to Galland. Sliced away foul. 2-2. You mentioned the control arm. Nicholas walked 47 in 51 2/3 innings at Ball State. Struck out 78. Opponents only hit 184 against him this spring. Teeters back on the rubber in his 2-2. Breaking pitch. Split off the end of the bat. And that's out of play on the right side, foul. He can throw it. It's in his family's blood, too. His uncle, Todd Blackledge, former Penn State quarterback. Nobody aboard for Harwich, top of the 9th. Cotuit 7, Harwich 5. 1 out and the 2-2. Fastball hit in the air to right. It hangs up in foul ground. Shaver's hustling over, but he's about 10 feet short of getting there. And it's still 2-2. How about that? Todd Blackledge. That's a great relationship.
A lot of big arms in the family.
Mm-hmm. Nicholas, a native of Northeast Ohio, product of Jackson High School. Galland still hanging in with a 2-2 count. The pitch. Curveball in the dirt. Blocked away by Kessler. And it's full. Sun continues to go down here in Cotuit. Still a touch of gold on top of the trees in right center and right field behind the fence. 1 dark gray cloud blankets the field above. 3-2. Little flare into short center field. Gonzalez tried to lay out for it but wasn't able to make the catch. And that's down for a hit. Chris Galland aboard with a 1-out single to give Harwich life here in the 9th.
Nicholas was able to get that fastball in on the hands of him, but just strong enough to flare it over the second baseman Gonzalez's head, who hustled to it and took a big leap, but just out of his reach.
Yeah, he did like a belly flop there to try and get to that.
Yeah, that'll knock the wind out of you. It never feels good.
Sold out. Wasn't able to make the play, though. Great effort. A single for Galland, his second of the day. He's on first, held on by Dodd. Tying run comes to the plate for Harwich in a 7-5 game. Bobby Seymour. Left-handed bat takes down and out, ball one. Middle infielders for Cotuit pinch into second at double play depth. Schmidt plays in a little bit at third and shaded towards the middle of the infield, away from the line. Nicholas ready at the stretch, the 1-0. Hit hard, on a line, out of play down the left field line.
And Seymour probably the best bat in this Harwich lineup. A guy that can poke it out of here and tie this game really easily. You got to be careful with him. Obviously, you don't want to put the tying run on base, but don't want to give him anything he can get extended on, especially with a high-velocity guy like Nicholas.
1 on with 1 out. 7-5 Cotuit. 1-1. Bounce to second. Could be 2. Gonzalez, it took a bad hop on him, and he has no choice but to go to first. That retires Seymour. Galland up to second base, but there are now 2 outs here in the ninth.
Smart play by Gonzalez there. Get the out. Of course, the runner on second doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. The tying run's obviously more important, so make sure he doesn't get on board. If you don't get the guy on second, you got 2 guys on and you're in trouble. Now 2 away. Nicholas just has to get 1 more out. Infield can play back and pretty much ignore the guy at second for now.
Galland is the runner at second. A tying run at the plate, Nico Cavadas. First baseman out of Notre Dame, who reached on an error versus Nicholas back in the 8th. A little pop-up to short. 1 for 4 on the day with an RBI single in the 6th and a run scored. Kettleers trying to hang on to a 7-5 lead here in the top of the 9th inning. Galland on second with 2 outs. Nicholas from the stretch. First pitch popped up, and out play foul. Dodd hugs the line behind first base, no doubles defense. Schmidt shades in a tick towards the middle at third, away from the line. 0-1. Slider just off the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike. Kettleers lead at 7-5 with 2 outs here in the top of the 9th inning. Galland the runner at second. Cavadas the tying run at the plate. Nicholas from the stretch. 1-1, smacked into the air. Shallow left side of the infield. Schmidt's calling for it. Shuffles left and makes the catch to end the ball game. That's the game, and the Kettleers capture their 3rd consecutive victory to improve to 4-1 on the season, defeating the Harwich Mariners by a score of 7-5 here at Lowell Park. Kyle Nicholas gets the job done. Another 6-out save. Harwich unable to get anything tied up with a tying run at the plate. And Cotuit is off to a great start in the opening week of this 2019 summer.
Gotta love what you've seen from the offense so far, like we mentioned. 26 runs in 3 ball games. The pitching, for the most part, has been really good. Of course, the defense, probably the only shaky thing, but the fact that the pitchers have been able to work around 5 errors in the last 2 ball games and hold teams to just 7 runs so far has been really encouraging. At the end of the day, got to shore up the gloves, and it's something that Coach Mike Roberts says they're going to do, and it's something that comes a little later. It's something that he thinks he has a big influence on these players. So the bats are going. It's really encouraging, and as long as they keep getting quality starts out of their starters, they're going to be a tough team to beat because you know they're going to put up runs.
The Kettleers take the victory 7-5 and win their 3rd in a row. Both teams in the handshake line. We'll come back with one more post-game wrap to put a bow on this one. Cotuit wins it over Harwich. Be right back after this. All right, welcome back to Lowell Park. It's a wrap. Kettleers win it 7-5 over the Harwich Mariners. Sam Niederman and Arm Layton here to break it down with you. The Kettleers were trailing to begin this one, Arm, down 2-0 after allowing an RBI single to Bobby Seymour, and then another run came home on a wild pitch. But Cotuit did not flinch. A 2-run triple by Colton Kessler in the first to tie it up, and then 2 big home runs by Cam Williams and Arajanu really got this engine going.
And that's why it was important to keep the foot on the pedal. Obviously, a little hiccup down the line with the bullpen and the defense surrendering a few runs, but they were able to score so many on the pair of home runs, 4 runs there, that 7-2 was just too much for Harwich to overcome, and that ended up being the difference.
How about Jackson Wolf today, the Kettleer starting pitcher, who had a little bit of a rocky first inning, giving up the 2 runs on 2 hits, but overall, another good solid start. He went 4 innings, only allowed 2 runs on those 2 hits, walked 1 and struck out 4.
He did a really good job of locating. Obviously, he's not a guy that's going to blow it by you, but he was getting the outside corner that was being called all day by Dan Henry behind home plate, and he was abusing it. And he was just pitching on that outside corner, backdooring guys, spotting that fastball and using the changeup well. And when you're a lefty, a crafty lefty like that, it's really important to use a 3-pitch mix, and he did a great job of that.
And how about the bullpen today? It's been so solid all season long. That's why the Kettleers are 4-1. But different contributions from a couple of fresh faces and a couple of the day one bullpenners. We saw Chris Holcomb make his 2019 Kettleer debut, a team that he had seen growing up, and native of Marston's Mills. He went a scoreless inning, striking out 1. Joey Walsh did come on. He gave up a couple of hits and 1 run. It was not earned, but then it was the back-end heat that really cleaned it up. Bo Hofstra worked 2+ innings, only allowed 1 hit, didn't allow a run, walked 1, struck out 3, and Kyle Nicholas came on for a 6-out save.
Yeah, you get the sense that Hofstra and Nicholas are going to be those back-end guys to close the door this year for Cotuit, and you see why. Both imposing figures on the mound, 6 feet plus, high-velocity guys, and they blow it by you. And when they're on, and they've been good all year long so far. We'll see how they can keep it moving, rolling forward, but Holcomb looked good.
Indeed. Let's keep you updated on the rest of the league scoreboard this afternoon. It was a busy day around Cape Cod for the Cape League. One final earlier, Wareham dominated Hyannis at McKeon Park by a score of 12-5. Bourne commanding Falmouth 9-2 on the road, top of the 7th in that one. Brewster a 1-0 edge over Orleans on the road, top of the 5th. And a tie ball game at Veterans Field in Chatham, 1 apiece between YD and Chatham. Next up for the Kettleers, a road trip to Red Wilson Field at YD tomorrow afternoon, Sunday Father's Day doubleheader. 2 7-inning ball games. First one starts at 2. The next one follows 30 minutes after. Airtime at 1:50 tomorrow right here on Mixler.com/Cotuit Broadcasting. Make sure that you tune in for our pregame show. Hear from Coach Mike Roberts in our pregame chat. We'll break down that doubleheader as the Kettleers with a rematch of their opening day opponent. What do you look for in that one? Should be a tough uphill climb against a really good ball club.
Well, of course, Coach Roberts just went to his go-to guys in the back of the bullpen, so it's going to kind of be who can step up and see who can close the door. Obviously, it's 2 7-inning games, so a quality start is obviously huge, but someone's going to have to come in and shut the door in either of those games should the Kettleers have a lead. And it's going to be interesting to see who Coach Roberts calls on in those situations.
One more run down to the Kettleers lineup. Cam Hill went 1 for 4 with an RBI single. That came back in the second. It gave the Kettleers a 3-2 lead, and that was the lead that they would never give up. Nick Gonzalez 0 for 3 with a walk. He's reached once again. Mason Dodd extended his hitting streak to 3. He went 1 for 3 with 2 runs scored. Arajanu, the best day at the plate, 2 for 4 with a big 2-run home run and 2 runs scored. Colton Kessler 1 for 4 with a 2-run triple. Casey Schmidt 0 for 4. It was Parker Chavers who went 2 for 4 with 2 doubles and 2 runs scored. Cam Williams went 1 for 4, blasting his first home run of the season, a 2-run shot that came back in the 4th. And Duke Ellis returned to the pinstripes and went 2 for 4 as well in the 9 spot. That's how the Kettleers did it. Line score today, Harwich 5 runs on 8 hits, no errors. Cotuit 7 runs on 10 hits. With 2 errors, the Kettleers reached double digits in the hit column for the 3rd consecutive game. The win, Bo Hofstra 2-0. You can give him the win. Nick Stewart on the hook for the loss, 0-1, the starter for Harwich. Kyle Nicholas locks down his 2nd save of the season. Time of the ball game, 2 hours and 52 minutes. Hundreds of people or so attended. Probably about 500 people that jammed into the ballpark today. We'll get you the official attendance number later on. The Kettleers improved to 4-1, remain in first place in the West, and Harwich drops to 1-3. We will talk to you tomorrow at Red Wilson Field, a Father's Day doubleheader starting at 2 p.m. Pre-game show begins at 1:50. Can't wait to talk to you then. For Arm Layton, our entire Kettleers media team, I'm Sam Niederman saying happy Saturday. Thank you for joining us. Kettleers pick up their third win in a row.